one win. In October, an entire season can come down to just one win. In Game 5, the San Francisco Giants were one win away from their ultimate goal. But the Philadelphia Phillies showed the heart and grit that personifies the city they represent. On the brink of elimination, the Phillies proved why they're the two-time defending National League champions.
To Philadelphia we go as the Phillies win Game 5.
Tonight, the NLCS shifts back to Philadelphia, where the Phillies look to take this series to the limit. While just one win can send the San Francisco Giants to the World Series. Game 6 of the NLCS is next on Fox.
The Giants have the lead in the series, but Philly has reclaimed home field advantage. Will this raucous crowd be enough to push the Phils to a 7th game, or will San Francisco clinch a World Series berth? It's time to find out as the series shifts back to Philly for Game 6 of the NLCS. And Mother Nature must be a huge baseball fan. Ideal conditions, partly cloudy, temperature 59, and mild wind as we get ready for a little baseball. Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Fox's continuing coverage of the National League Championship Series. I am Chris Rose, joined as always by Eric Karros, and from the MLB Network, the Wild Thing, Mitch Williams. And guys, we understand the task at hand. Giants, one more win. They're in the World Series for the first time since '02. Phillies need to win tonight to force a 7th game tomorrow. They have momentum on their side. If you believe in such a thing, Mitch Williams.
Well, I absolutely do believe in momentum. If you would ask me which team was in a better situation, I would say the Giants are in a better situation. Why? They're up 3 games to 2. The reason I feel the Phillies have the momentum, the people behind me. I know the feeling this crowd gives you, the energy, the adrenaline they give you. Back in 1993, 63,000 of these people were screaming at me enough to make me throw a ball 3 feet behind a guy before I finally got him out.
Well, if that's momentum, I'm not sure I want it. But I'll tell you what, for me, I don't think either team has the momentum. It's sitting there on a table for either one of these clubs to grab. And they can grab it in the form of a big hit, of a home run, of another team's misplay. Look, we were in the clubhouse of both of these clubs prior to the game, both very relaxed, just waiting to grab the momentum.
All right, guys, let's put the emotions aside right now. Let's talk about the batting order, and let's start at the top, specifically for the Philadelphia Phillies. Charlie Manuel has made a change. Shane Victorino has moved down in the lineup, and that man, Jimmy Rollins, is at the top. Do you like it, Mitch?
I love this move. Jimmy Rollins is the Philadelphia Phillies leadoff hitter. He's always been the Philadelphia Phillies leadoff hitter. Charlie Manuel said in his meeting before the game, this is the lineup we left spring training with, and we finally have it on the field. Jimmy's legs are under him. He feels good at the plate, and the sign I like the best, Jimmy is smiling. When Jimmy's smiling, he's playing well.
Well, you know, I look at what Bruce Bochy has done with his lineup, and you know, it may not be his typical lineup that he ran out during the season, but it's what he thinks will give him the best chance to win tonight. Pablo Sandoval out at third base. Juan Uribe at third. Andres Torres in center. Why Uribe at third? Because defensively he's better than Sandoval. Remember, Sandoval had some struggles in his last game. And at the end of the day, if you kick the ball in this series, you're going to lose. Bruce Bochy doesn't want to see anybody kicking the ball.
Yeah, great point there. You can talk about defense all you want, but at some point they're going to have to scratch across a run against Roy Oswalt. And Roy Oswalt, remember, he was the winner right here in Game 2. He was the loser in relief out in San Francisco in Game 4. And remember, the 3-time All-Star waived his no-trade clause to come to Philly in July, as a lifelong Astro is willing to leave the Deep South in order to head north in the standings. It's Game 2 of the National League Championship Series.
Roy Oswalt is another ace in this long line of aces for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Roy Oswalt, lifer with the Houston Astros until he was traded here, and he has not lost as a Philly in this park.
Today, Roy Oswalt comes to Philly.
We think that we acquired one of the premier starting pitchers in baseball. A lot of teams going to spring training know they don't have a chance, you know, to get back to the postseason, but with these guys, you have a chance every time you go out.
Well, we talked a little bit about it before the trade deadline. I just wanted to make sure that he was going to be comfortable coming here, and he's motivated to win, bottom line.
The biggest thing was just asking about the atmosphere in the clubhouse. You know, everyone sees the play on the field, probably the best in the National League, but the atmosphere in the locker room, you know, how guys got along. People don't realize how much that means in a baseball season. It wasn't about just getting in the playoffs. It was about getting to that last game, and they've done it, you know, last 2 years straight. They have a good enough core group here that should push you all the way until the end.
That's strike 3. Oswalt is on a roll, and a cut and a miss. Roy Oswalt was terrific here tonight.
All right, guys, Roy Oswalt threw an inning in Wednesday's game. He also threw a side session as well. What effect, if any, will that have on him tonight?
Well, I can tell you this, yes to both of those. He threw in the game, he threw a side session. This is the 6th game of the NLCS. It's a mind over matter issue. If he don't mind, it don't matter. Roy Oswalt is a country boy. He's going to go out there and do his thing.
Well, I agree that he's going to go out and do his thing. I'm just not so sure how long he'll be able to do his thing. And that's why the Philadelphia bullpen ever so important tonight, specifically Ryan Madson. The guy's been dominant this series so far. 4 2/3 innings, 7 strikeouts. And remember what he did the other night against the Giants. He's in a zone like Cody Ross is hitting. That's what he feels like when he's out on the mound, that he can throw the ball wherever he wants.
All right, so we talked about the Phil's starter and their key reliever there, but what about Jonathan Sanchez, who gets the ball tonight for the Giants?
Well, I think he's going to throw great. Everybody wants to go back to the game he threw. Oh, they lost 6-1 that ball game. Yeah, but he threw extremely well. Sure, he walked 3 in the first inning, but without a Mike Fontenot, he doesn't give up any runs. 35 pitches in the first inning. In the next 5 innings, he threw a total of 60 pitches. Great stuff.
By the way, the Giants, they won't tell you this to a man, but they want to get it done tonight because this franchise 0-5 all-time in Game 7. So they're trying to get the victory tonight. And you can also take a shot at victory by entering for a chance to win postseason tickets or an all-new 2011 Chevrolet Cruze at worldseries.com/cruise. Welcome back to the Chevrolet pregame show on Fox. This has been a wonderful series so far. So what are you keeping your eye on tonight? What are you looking for?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Aubrey Huff of the regular season. I mean, so far this series, he has 0 extra base hits, 0 walks. This is a guy that was the most consistent offensive player from April until October. He needs to show up, needs to do something, and needs to get going now.
For me, it is very simple. I am looking for Roy Oswalt to go out, elevate the fastball, much like he did in Game 2, throw his breaking ball and his changeup down, and the Phillies hitters to make Jonathan Sanchez get the ball over the plate.
All right, guys, before we get out of here, predictions. Are the Giants popping the champagne corks, or are we working tomorrow night?
Well, you know, I think Dwayne Kuiper, the local guy for the Giants, says it best. Giants baseball, torture. They're going to torture their fans. We're coming back for a Game 7.
I can tell you that it's not torture here in Philadelphia, but we're coming back for Game 7.
Okay, so that's pretty simple. According to these two guys, we're working tomorrow night. I can guarantee you one thing.
This is not work, Chris.
That's true. We'll at least be here tomorrow night. So, Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, take it away. You're at least working this evening.
That we know. Chris, guys, thank you very much. Well, We're going to have some fun here tonight. We know that. The Texas Rangers stamped their ticket for the World Series with a win over the Yankees last night. The San Francisco Giants are trying to get that done here tonight, taking on the Phillies, trying to force a Game 7 in a rematch of the Game 2 starters, a Game 1 by Philadelphia, final of 6-1. Consider this. The guys talked about a change to the lineup with Jimmy Rollins in the leadoff spot. This is the first time Charlie Manuel has put this exact lineup together 1 through 8 the entire season long. So that's the group they go with. And as we welcome in Tim McCarver, if this is a rematch of the Game 2 starters, there will be a much different approach for each lineup against the opposing starting pitcher.
Well, there is no question about it. I mean, when you consider Jonathan Sanchez, he led the major leagues in walks with 96, and the Phillies fed off the first and second pitch in Game 2. They didn't swing early in the count. He walked 3 in that first inning, and the Phillies ultimately scored a run on the bases loaded walk by Jimmy Rollins. As far as Roy Oswalt is concerned, you take the opposite approach. You're aggressive early in the count because he is a strike-throwing machine, and there's no way that you can count on him to walk anybody. So 2 different approaches to 2 very good pitchers.
Let me ask you this really quickly. 3 nights ago, he got the loss in the 9th inning through 18 pitches out of the bullpen. Does that affect his start here tonight?
Everybody in Philadelphia is asking that question, and the answer is no. No effect whatsoever.
So off we go. It's Game 6, NLCS tonight. As the NLCS returns to Philadelphia, who would you rather be? The Phillies, the series favorites at home, needing to win 2 straight, or the Giants, the underdogs, needing to win just 1 in hostile territory to advance to the World Series. Game 6 is next. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By MasterCard, the preferred card of Major League Baseball. And by Verizon Wireless, introducing the Droid X, the next generation of does. We are in Philadelphia, and here on October 23rd, it is 59 degrees. It's supposed to be even warmer here tomorrow. If there is a Game 7, Roy Oswalt will have a lot to do with that. And we'll give you the Taco Bell starting lineup for the San Francisco Giants. Think outside the bun. Here they are.
Andres Torres. When I was young, my favorite player was Roberto Clemente.
Freddie Sanchez. When I was a kid growing up, my favorite team was, don't get mad at me, San Francisco fans, but it was the LA Dodgers.
My name is Aubrey Huff. My favorite team was the Texas Rangers growing up, and my favorite player was Nolan Ryan.
Buster Posey, catcher. Pat Burrell. When I was a kid, I was a huge San Francisco Giants fan.
Cody Ross. My nickname is Smiles.
Juan Uribe, third base.
Edgar Renteria. When I was a kid, my favorite player was Ozzie Smith.
Jonathan Sanchez. When I was a little kid, I like Randy Johnson.
Couple of lefties, Jonathan Sanchez and Randy Johnson. Here's the right-hander, Roy Oswalt, what he's done this postseason. He's got a win and a loss in this NLCS. Heck, he could have 3 decisions in 6 games at the end of tonight. And we're going to give you a little scouting report, compliments of T-Mac.
The San Francisco Giants have played 171 games this year. The Phillies 170. So that's 241 games, and one would think that a scouting report would be redundant, and it is, but we're going to give it to you anyway. Mostly fastball and a changeup, very few breaking balls from Oswalt. And as Joe said in the opening, 18 pitches in Game 4, but no effect.
So we're set to go, and tonight's opening pitch is sponsored by Budweiser, official beer of the thirst inning, the beer that starts with a full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. Andres Torres, who had a nice night in Game 5, was on base all 4 times he came to the plate. 2 hits, a walk, an error. Will try and get it started for the Giants. Game 6. Strike 1.
By the way, my math was wrong. That's 341 games this year played between the two teams.
Doesn't matter. Still redundant. Torres, then Sanchez, then Huff. Line drive into left field and a good start for San Francisco. Leadoff man is on. So Andres Torres is starting to heat up. We look defensively at Philadelphia. Ibanez is in left. Victorino in center. Jason Worth is in right. With Polanco, Rollins, Utley, Howard. The catcher is Ruiz and the pitcher is Oswalt.
How about that? Andres Torres struck out 4 times against Oswalt last Sunday and opens the hitting for the Giants here tonight.
Oswalt, who has not lost in 12 starts in this park, 6-0 as a Philadelphia Philly, including Game 2. Overall went 7-1 after the trade from the Astros in the regular season. Strike 1 on Freddie Sanchez. Sanchez 6 out of 21 in this series. Aubrey Huff will follow. And look at that number. 68 and 17 is his career record after the 1st of August. That's the highest winning percentage in Major League Baseball since 1920. Strike 2.
And that's a very important point, because that means Ruben Amaro, the general manager of the Phillies, and his staff did an excellent job in scouting Roy Oswalt, not only with the trade, but knowing how strong he was to be in the last 2 months of the season.
Oswalt was 6-12 when the Phillies picked him up from Houston. Finished 13-13 overall. What was that?
You've heard of courtesy tosses. That one had sugar on it. A little flip to first. No meaning whatsoever.
Torres stole 26 during the regular season, has won this postseason. 1 away. Freddie Sanchez stomps back to the dugout. He's not happy. Tom Hallion is the home plate umpire. Darrell Cousins is at first with Iasonia at second base. Ted Barrett, Wally Bell down the left field line. And down the right field line, it's Jeff Nelson. Here's Aubrey Huff. On the outside corner, strike 1. Huff called out by our pregame guys to get something going for the Giants in their lineup. 3 RBIs this postseason after he led the team in home runs and RBIs. During the regular year, he has not gone deep in the postseason. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It tells you what kind of offense a team has when their RBI leader had 86 runs driven in. That's Huff.
A team that was 9th in runs scored during the regular season across the National League. They did it with their pitching. The 1-1, strike 2. Two out.
This is what we were talking about in the opening. When you get behind Oswalt, he's particularly tough. Call a strike 1. 1-1. Foul back, and then he can paint. And that's what Oswalt does.
And the velocity is fine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no effect from that outing on Wednesday night where he threw 18 pitches.
Here's Buster Posey. It was Posey's hit against Oswalt in Game 4 that set up the game-winning situation. There's a strike. We're working with a wide strike zone here tonight. Both pitchers ought to be happy about that, and that might be better news for Jonathan Sanchez,
who is wilder of the two.
Here's an 0-1. Check swing, he went. Strike 2 on the rookie Posey.
Buster Posey, a very good two-strike hitter. He proved that in Game 4. He had 4 hits, 1 off Oswald. That was the key hit in that game. You may remember that pitch. That pitch was an 0-2 fastball, about 3 inches off the plate, and he poked it to right field.
With 2 strikes, Oswald is thinking the Giants might start the runner. Torres at first. Thrown over, steps off.
You're going to do that, throw the fastball high and outside. That's a quasi pitch out. If a pitcher and a catcher feel like a guy you can waste a pitch on an 0-2 count, go ahead and throw it high and outside. You may get the runner to run.
Runner goes, and a foul out of play. Torres will have to come back. So far, Oswald 4 for 4, throwing first pitch strikes. He gave up a leadoff hit to Torres, struck out Sanchez, struck out Huff. 1-2 on Posey. .69-mile-an-hour pitch throw to first, and Torres, who had wandered, gets back.
I think if he goes on first motion, he makes it to second base, because Ruiz could not find the ball initially. But it's very difficult if you're the runner on at first base. You don't know how far behind the catcher the ball went. Watch Ruiz. See, Torres wanted to go. Had he trusted his instincts, I think he makes it to second base.
The 2-2. Fly ball into right. A scoreless top of the first. It's Saturday night. It's live. It's Philadelphia. We're glad you're with us on Fox. No score into the bottom of the first. The left-hander Jonathan Sanchez getting set to go. The Phillies starting lineup is brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Here is the Sarge.
Hi, this is Gary Sarge Matthews with the Philadelphia Phillies with your Philadelphia lineup. For the fighting fields, leading off, Jimmy Rollins playing shortstop. Placido Polanco hitting second, playing third base. Chase Utley hitting third, playing second base. Ryan Howard batting fourth, playing first base. Jason Worth had a great year this year, batting fifth, playing right field. Shane Victorino, the Flying Hawaiian, batting sixth, playing center field. Raul Ibanez batting seventh, playing left field. Carlos Ruiz batting eighth and doing the catching. Number 9, Roy Oswald. Expect a good game out of him tonight. Been a terrific pitcher for us, and he'll be on the mound.
Great guy. The Sarge, Gary Matthews, the MVP of the '83 NLCS for the Phillies. Here they lost the World Series to Baltimore, and as we showed you, he was with the Giants from '72 to '76, and the Phils '81 to '83. So Jimmy Rollins is in the leadoff spot. And up there ready to swing. Strike one.
I think psychologically this is a very, very good move by Charlie Manuel. What he does by doing this, he says, Jimmy, if we lose this game, we're going to lose with you betting leadoff, like you always do. 72 games this year.
Suffered 2 different leg injuries, and that's what slowed his season, slowed down his running. He has proven to Charlie Manuel that the legs are better. Had 2 steals in game number 5 2 nights ago. So he's back in the top spot, and he takes a strike from Jonathan Sanchez. Here is a 1-2 pitch. Skips in there. Ken Rosenthal is with us. Kenny, you have more on Rollins in the top spot?
Yes, I talked to him before the game, Joe, and he said, quote, "I'm feeling fast." Does that mean I'm feeling healthy? He said, "I don't know, but I'll run until I can't run anymore."
This is the first time that Charlie Manuel has put this lineup together in this exact order this season. And the count is full from Sanchez. Hard hit right at Uribe. He's over there for his defense, and the first batted ball finds him. At least the first one in play, and Uribe takes care of Rollins.
I think that's why the left side of the infield is what it is tonight, with Renteria at shortstop and Uribe at third base. The most experience the Giants can put on the left side with the left-hander pitcher.
So you've got Uribe instead of Fontenot, who has made an error in this series. Sandoval, who doesn't move around as well. He also has made an error, did so in game 5. So it's the experience of Renteria at short, and the better range and maybe hands of Uribe at third. Ball 1 in the dirt to Polanco, who's 5 for 17 in this NLCS. Sanchez was so good for the Giants down the stretch. He won the clincher final Sunday of the season against San Diego. Very good against Atlanta. Struggled with his control in the first inning in game 2 and walked home a run. There are his numbers, an ERA of 1.29 since the 1st of September. But he's 3-0 on Polanco. Take all the way, and he takes a walk.
4 straight balls to Polanco. He's an interesting study, is Jonathan Sanchez. He has very, very small hands for a guy who's 6'1". Tough to grip his off-speed pitches. And the 96 walks, we mentioned that, most in the major leagues. However, the opposition only hit 204, the best in the major leagues.
Here's Utley. 3-4 spots for Philadelphia. No RBIs in this NLCS. Utley has a home run, popped one against Jonathan Sanchez this year. He's the only guy in this Philly lineup to go deep against this left-hander, and he'd love to drive one out of the park and end some frustration in this championship series. That skips in there, and Polanco down to second on a wild pitch.
Jonathan had 15 wild pitches on the season. You could see how Buster Posey had to turn the mitt around. He thought it was going to be high, it was low, and skips by him.
Look at him extend the mitt off his hand, trying to do anything he can to give himself more of an area to block that ball. He had no chance.
He almost lost his mitt on that. 3-2 count to Rollins, and then 6 straight balls out of the strike zone.
Utley is 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position this series. Ready to rip on 2-0. It's 2-1. On deck is Ryan Howard. Ripped into right field, and the Phillies take a first inning lead. Utley delivers for Philadelphia, 1-0.
Dave Righetti out to talk to Sanchez. This is a fastball inside in a fastball count. If you're going to throw the fastball in a fastball count, you're best to keep it away. Of course, Sanchez is just struggling with any strike in the strike zone, and Utley takes advantage of it.
Polanco walked, went to second on a wild pitch, and scores on the RBI double by Utley. Here's Ryan Howard, who has struck out 9 times in this NLCS. Also held without an RBI. Was the MVP last year for the Phillies in their NLCS win over the Dodgers. Good rip by Howard, strike 1.
If you're looking to keep it simple with a young pitcher, as you look at Chase Utley and Ryan Howard, no home runs between the two, but Utley with a big RBI there. The best advice for a young pitcher is to tell him all walks score.
It seems like that's the case.
It does. Now, it's not true, but tell him that anyway.
Here's the 0-1, Howard. In the air to left, that ball will get down. Holding is Utley. It's first and third for Philadelphia. A base hit by Ryan Howard. Still no RBI, but he makes it easier on Worth coming up next.
Pat Burrell had to play Howard deep in left field, and because of that, Burrell gets an in-between hop, and Chase Utley had to hold up between second and third, and that hesitation prevented him from scoring. Up goes the stop sign from Sam Palazzo, the third base coach.
That was Ryan Howard's first hit this postseason with a runner in scoring position. It got Utley to third, now first and third for Jason Worth. Ball 1. As there was in the first inning of Game 2, there's action for the Giants in their pen. It's Mota. Guillermo has not pitched in this series. Worth went deep 2 nights ago in San Francisco. 2-0. It was his 13th career postseason home run, which ties him for the most all-time in NL history. In the air to left center field. Back is Burrell at the track. It's 2-0 Philadelphia on a sac fly by Jason Worth.
Jason Worth just missed hitting that ball a long way. He thought he had it. You can see him. He thought he had it. Little cut fastball inside. Utley scores easily. Burrell's throw comes into second base.
Victorino spins out of the way of ball one. Victorino had been the leadoff hitter this entire NLCS. Rollins had hit leadoff one time this postseason against the Reds. Now Victorino back in the 6th spot. Off the end of the bat and into center. Howard will stop, and it's 2 on, 2 out.
Because of the way that ball was hit, it squirts by Edgar Renteria. And English taking it away from Renteria. That's a weird hit, but they all count. And Shane will tell you that.
Here's Ibanez, 2 on, 2 out. A wrinkle on the end of it, strike 1. Sanchez faced 7 batters in the first inning. Game 2, he walked 3, forcing home a run. He's allowed 3 hits here in the first inning tonight. Walked 1. 2 on, 2 out. That just missed. Ball and a strike.
But when you're wild, you don't get pitches like that. Roy Oswalt would get a pitch like that, but not Jonathan Sanchez.
Popped up. Out goes Sanchez. And the Giants second baseman has it. Facing elimination here tonight. Oswalt pitched a scoreless top half. Utley with an RBI double. Worth with a sac fly into left. 2-0. Phillies after 1. We move into the second inning, game 6, 2-0 Philadelphia on top, and see if the Giants can come right back. Pat Burrell, Cody Ross, Juan Uribe against Roy Oswalt, who got around a leadoff hit in the first. Back-to-back strikeouts. Posey fly to right. And then the Phillies got him 2 runs. Burrell takes a strike. Pat Burrell, who grew up in this Philadelphia organization. Pitch was up, hittable, fouled back. Pat won a ring with the Phillies in 08, left for Tampa Bay in 09. Released this year. Signed with the Giants, and it's been a great match. The 0-2. Just got a piece.
Released by the Tampa Bay Rays on May 15th. Signed with the Giants on the 29th. And then joined the Giants on June 4th. After playing 4 games in left field for the first time in a year and a half for Fresno, the AAA affiliate of the Giants.
Ball 1. You see Ross on deck. San Francisco trying to get something going against Oswalt, who is up on the count here, and this is in the hole. Tough play. Rollins can't make the play, and Burrell is on.
Probably a base hit, a rare infield hit for Pat Burrell, who is not a fast runner. Rollins, had he planted and thrown with Burrell running, maybe he gets it, but couldn't find the handle.
So Burrell is on his 4th hit of this NLCS, and Cody Ross, who took Oswalt out of the park in game 2, and who has hit 3 home runs in this series, 4 in the postseason. The Giants have hit only 5 home runs. So he has 4 of them. Hits one to third. Weird hop. Polanco out at second. Got them both. 5-4-3.
You're right, Joe. It was not a predictable hop. Good play by Polanco to easily turn the double play.
He's got such great hands.
That's why he could make that transition from second base to third base.
And it works for him handling the bat as well. Just a good Major League Baseball player is Placido Polanco. And that makes it 2 out, nobody on for Uribe. It was 7 for 19 in his career, and now floats one into right field. 8 for 20 in his career against Oswalt. So he handles this Philadelphia right-hander, and he's on with 2 out in the second. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And by New Windows Phone. Two hits in the inning, but a double play ball in the middle. Here's Renteria, who is batting 8th. Hit leadoff in game 3. A 3-0 win behind Matt Cain. As he and the Giants beat Cole Hamels. That would be the matchup tomorrow night if there is a game 7. Strike 1 on Renteria. Talk about the wealth of postseason experience for Edgar. 59th career start at short in the postseason. That's a strike, and Renteria spins out of there in an 0-2 hole. Look at the strikes to balls ratio from Oswalt.
Good control is also throwing a ball when you want to. That was too good, an 0-2 pitch to Renteria. He'd like to have that one back.
That's how locked in Oswalt was. First of all, he just threw a nasty breaking ball, but Renteria was granted time. He wasn't even in the box.
This is like simulating a bullpen session.
It's a good pitch.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and throw it anyway.
That last pitch doesn't count.
No.
It's not in that breakdown.
No.
That's a ball. 1-2. Renteria up. Sanchez, the pitcher, on deck. Went in on the hand, still 1-2.
Roy Oswalt is an east-west guy. Now, what does that mean? He works the inside part of the plate and the outside part of the plate. He doesn't necessarily keep every pitch down, 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 but east-west.
In the air to right, Worth to his left. Oswalt 2 scoreless. This city is buzzing about the Phillies. Playing in game 6 and leading 2-0 after an inning and a half. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Our booth is lined with crab fries.
Nice aroma coming from down below.
stadium has some of the best food in Major League Baseball.
Awesome.
Pitch up and away to Carlos Ruiz. Number 8 hitter Oswalt will be next. And back to the top, Jimmy Rollins. More out of the strike zone than in it so far from Sanchez. Comparing the first inning, game 2, to tonight. Strike 1 on Ruiz.
You see those walks, 3 in game 2, 1 tonight. You know, the one thing I think that pitching coach should become more aware of than they really are is a term that I've been thinking about for a long time, and it's called a fall behind. If a pitcher falls behind a hitter, for instance, sometimes that's worse than walking him because of what you do to get the count even. Sanchez, for instance, tonight has 5 fall behinds of the first 8 hitters, and that's not good. It's not a good trend.
The 2-2. This is a left-hander who threw a no-hitter July 10th of last year against San Diego. Well, that was in the midst of a year in which he went 8-12. When you fall behind, you have those fall behinds against a team like Philly hitting in their home park, where they average more home runs, average more runs than on the road. You're asking, begging for trouble. Still 2-2. So Jonathan trying to settle into this game. Another 2-2. Another foul ball. Well, what do you think of the Texas Rangers' performance against the New York Yankees in the ALCS?
Splendid. Young, fast club, underrated pitching. Neftali Perez coming to age as a closer for the Rangers. A very, very tough club. Neftali Feliz.
2 guys you may not know much about at this point if you weren't watching the ALCS, but you will see plenty about them and hear plenty about them. Both hit in every postseason game so far for the Rangers. Nelson Cruz, Elvis Andrus. That's to the shortstop, Renteria. 1 out. So a good job by Sanchez to come back from a 2-0 count, keep the leadoff man off base, and make Roy Oswalt swing the bat. Roy had a hit in game 2. The World Series will start on Wednesday night, either in San Francisco or here in Philadelphia. The NL has the home field advantage. 7:30 Eastern Time Wednesday night, 4:30 Pacific, here on Fox. The guy who may be at home right now watching the NLCS, and a guy who was involved in the postseason, Brian McCann, and his big swing in the All-Star game on the 13th of July is the reason the National League has the home field advantage in the World Series.
Did that double off Matt Thornton of the Chicago White Sox.
Here's a 1-1. Off the hands to the second baseman, Sanchez. 2 out. Here it is, if you weren't watching. Ripped into right. Another low-scoring All-Star game. Bird followed Holiday across the plate. The National League finally won. Since first time for the National League since sometime in the late 30s that they won the All-Star game. Here's Jimmy Rollins. Strike 1. Last time the National League won the All-Star game prior to this year was in Philly at the Vet in '96. This is 2010. There was a tie, but it had been all AL until Brian McCann did that. 2 out, nobody on, nothing, and 2 is the count. Ball 1. Sanchez, 2-2. From 0-2 to 3-2.
Who has the advantage on a 3-2 count? When a hitter goes from 0-2 to 3-2, the hitter has the count to his advantage. Changeup.
And a strikeout, first of the night for Sanchez. Let's go to the 3rd inning, game 6. Philadelphia down 3 games to 2, up 2-0 tonight. Here's tonight's AT&T trivia question. Who's the last National League team to come back from a 3 games to 1 deficit to win a postseason series? Sanchez, strike 1. Last AL team to do it, NLCS, was Boston, coming back on the Indians in '07. The last NL team. Strike 2 on Jonathan Sanchez.
First year that the Fox network carried postseason play back in 1996, the Atlanta Braves did it against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Breaking ball misses, ball 1. Is that your guess, or is that the answer?
No, I was just surrounding it.
Here's the 1-2. Line drive, hard hit, and threw Utley into right center field. How about Jonathan Sanchez on with a leadoff hit? That's the second time in 3 innings that the Giants have put their leadoff man on.
Last game of the season against San Diego, Jonathan Sanchez hit a triple. Not too often do you see a starting pitcher, or any pitcher for that matter, hit a triple. That will go as a base hit. The ball stayed under the glove of Utley, but could have been made.
Yeah, Utley didn't even get a piece of it.
No.
Here's a strike to Torres. Utley has a couple of errors in this postseason. Had one taken away the other day, the day game, game 3 in San Francisco. This is a Philadelphia team that's made 2 errors in this NLCS. But Utley missed it altogether. That's strike 2 on Torres. Andres singled into left his first time up. Now 5 for 16 in this series. They do not hold against Sanchez at first.
With 2 strikes, Oswalt featured the high fastball to Torres in game 2.
That one misses, and Oswalt wants a different baseball. Freddie Sanchez on deck. Play Torres to hit it the other way just a bit in the outfield. And he flies one into center for Victorino. Well hit. Back on the run. Victorino cannot make the catch. And they have the runner Torres diving back into first, safe as Jonathan Sanchez stopped at second base. The 2 runners almost collided, and Torres was able to get back to first.
Yeah, any pitcher on base is not going to be a good base runner. Victorino ended up smothering that ball against the fence. It did hit the heel of the glove and then bobbled around and then hit the fence. The minute it hits the fence, it is a base hit. So you can see the lead runner, Jonathan Sanchez, a pitcher, not a good base runner. No pitcher is. He doesn't know where to go, doesn't know whether the catch has been made, and now misses second base. And Torres goes too far, thinking that's at least, if nobody was on, it would have been a triple for Torres.
Instead, it's a single. 400 feet away to center, and Freddie Sanchez drops down a bunt. The only play is to first, and the runners move up to second and third. So it's a single for Torres. Now the sacrifice bunt by Freddie Sanchez, and here's a golden chance for the Giants in the third inning of Game 6.
Well, again, now you have second and third, but the pitcher is the lead runner, and he's not a good base runner, as you just saw. So the infield can technically play back, and on a routine ground ball to any infielder, you can come home with the ball because Sanchez is not used to trying to score on balls like this.
Here is Aubrey Huff, second and third, one out. Right back up the middle. In to score is Sanchez. Here comes Torres to the plate. Throw home in time for out number 2. Huff single scores 1. It's a 2-1 game here in the third inning.
Fine play by Carlos Ruiz to hang with it. This throw hits the back of the mound. There. Slows down and then hops into Ruiz's glove. Torres knocking Carlos over. It's almost a delayed play by the third base coach Tim Flannery. But the Phillies really got a break. Usually when a ball hits the mound like that, it's an errant throw. Not this time.
Torres out easily. But think of where this inning could have been for San Francisco. Here's Posey with a slow roller to third. Polanco with a bare hand pickup. The throw hits the runner. In to score is Huff, and this game is tied. Two here in the third inning, and a visit from Rich Doobie, the pitching coach.
I think Placido Polanco wants that interference call. That's what Bruce Bochy wanted the other night. Ball down the third base line. Oswalt has no chance. Polanco, the throw into the runner, hits the runner off the glove of Howard, and Huff scores to tie the ball game. I think it was off the glove of Howard.
Huff scores without a play. And just before that clunker down the third base side that was hit by Posey, thinking about the ball hit into center by Torres that went for a long single, then the bunt. Torres out at the plate on the throw home by Victorino, and now the ball off the bat of Posey to tie the game at 2. Runner at first, 2 out, and the batter is Burrell. This was all started on a leadoff hit by the pitcher Jonathan Sanchez. So Torres is 2 for 2 in this game, and this threat was started by Sanchez. Here's a 1-0 from Oswalt. Burrell trying to launch one, flies it into left. That ends the inning. On the ball hit by Posey, for now they've said E3, no RBI. That's the ruling, E3. It's a 2-2 game as we go to the bottom of the third inning here in Game 6. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by AT&T. Rethink possible. 2-2 game now as we go into the bottom of the third. For Philadelphia, it will be Polanco, Utley, and Ryan Howard. The official scorer during the break changed the error. After originally saying it was E3, meaning error on Ryan Howard, they gave it to Polanco. That's his second of the postseason. First of this series as he tried to make that throw on the run. That tied the game as Huff came around on that ball hit by Posey. Ball 1 to Polanco. Ball 2.
By the way, Joe, credit should be given to Aubrey Huff taking second base on that out at home when Victorino threw home. Torres was tagged out. Huff ended up at second base. Otherwise, he doesn't score on that little infield dribbler by Posey.
And now Posey is going to go out and talk to Sanchez.
Here's the play once again, second and third. 1 run scores. The throw by Victorino hits the mound. Good play by Ruiz, but on that play, Huff went to second base and was able to score on the grounder by Posey after the overthrow at first.
Sanchez needs a strike, and he can't find it. 3-0. His bat helped the Giants claw back in the top of this third. Now Jonathan's gone out there and run the count to 3-0. And next to Polanco, who will take a strike. Polanco walked and scored. His first time up tonight. Not close, and a leadoff walk. I would imagine it won't take much more than a walk in this situation to get that Giants bullpen going. Mota's already been up, and now looking out there. It's like Affeld's taking off his jacket.
Thing is, unless there's an unusual long at bat by Utley, Affeld will not have a chance to get ready by the time Ryan Howard comes up. He's the next hitter.
It's Utley, who has struggled with the glove in this series as an RBI, and that skips him there. Utley an RBI double into right his first time. Now Ramon Ramirez has joined Affeld. So a righty and a lefty getting loose. And out to buy a little time for that duo out there is Richetti to talk to Sanchez, who has issued a walk and now gone 2-0 on Utley.
Probably have home plate umpire Tom Hallion go out there if Dave Rigetti doesn't break it up. But he did.
Counts 2-0. It was an odd top of the third inning in Game 5 Philadelphia's way in San Francisco 2 nights ago. An odd top of this third inning as the Giants have tied it. Sanchez trying to not give it right back, and he hits Utley to put 2 on. And Utley just flipped him the ball back. The ball took a bounce, ended up in Utley's hands, and he flipped the ball out at Sanchez, and Sanchez didn't like it. Utley didn't like that.
It chased right on the top of the 6.
Here we go. Bench is now empty as Sanchez and Utley start yelling at each other.
You do not want to get kicked out of a game like this, or any game for that matter.
Aubrey Huff's trying to play peacemaker there in the middle.
Umpires are doing a great job acting as peacemakers.
Again, Utley was hit in the back. The ball ends up bouncing as he's going down to first. It bounces right to him. He grabs it and flips it out to Sanchez. Sanchez let it go by him and then stared at Utley over at first, said something, and then the two get into it. The benches really reacted more than Utley and Sanchez after a moment.
Yeah, I think had Chase Utley fired the ball at Sanchez, that would have been one thing. There's no intent for Sanchez to hit Utley in that situation. And the Giants need one win.
They may have to get Sanchez out of the game, though, when you consider how hot he is right now and how wild he's been.
I agree with that. And Affelt is ready now to pitch to Howard. Yeah, I don't think you leave him in there, as upset as he appears to be. And he's wild normally.
And this delay, as you say, has allowed Affelt enough time to get ready with Ryan Howard, the lefty, coming up, and that may be why Bochy's staying out there. That and the fact that the umpires are talking to the infielders and Sanchez. That may be it for Sanchez. It is. He's not kicked out. He's taken out by Bruce Bochy. And that little back and forth after the hit by pitch with Utley and Sanchez is the end of the 27-year-old left-hander's night. 2 on, nobody out. Affelt is coming in. Ryan Howard, without an RBI in this NLCS, is coming up. Jeremy Affelt is into the game. He's been involved in a couple so far this postseason. Ryan Howard will be the hitter. And it's 2 on with nobody out after Utley was hit by a pitch. Ball bounced up to Chase on his way to first. Chase had flipped it back in the direction of Sanchez. And Sanchez had that to say to Utley over at first. Then the benches emptied awfully quickly, and nobody's thrown out of the game, Tim, except Sanchez with his wildness is out here in the third.
Yep.
And Affelt pitching to Howard, who doesn't have an RBI. Good pitch for strike 1.
The way I saw that, there's no way that Jonathan Sanchez was throwing at Chase Utley, and there was no way that Chase Utley was doing anything other than tossing the ball back to Sanchez. Otherwise, he fires the ball. Then it's a different situation.
Here's the 0-1. That's a foul ball. As the ball hit the bat, strike 2.
Chase Utley holds the Philly record for being hit by a pitch, 125 during the regular season. He just did a little soft toss to Sanchez. He gets to first. Sanchez took issue. And this is when he talks to him. What you do about nothing.
Except the starter for the Giants is out of the game in 2+ innings. Howard lays off that pitch. Ball 1. at the plate.
Sometimes you'll do that as a catcher, particularly a young catcher. You'll put down the sign and say, wait a minute, I don't want to do that. And you'll call timeout. That's what Posey did. New pitch.
Two and two. Howard came into this game 5 for 17, no RBIs this postseason. 5 for 17 in the NLCS with 9 strikeouts. He's so strong, just getting the bat on the ball a lot of times. It makes things happen for Philadelphia.
Power from line to line.
The 2-2. Got him upstairs, one away. And the 10th time Ryan Howard has struck out in this series.
Ryan Howard has some gaps. The curveball in there. And then the check swing foul ball. Breaking ball is away. Fastball away, and the high fastball gets it.
Now it's Jason Worth. Worth with a sac fly his first time up. Good start to the outing by Affeldt. Outside. By the way, when Utley was hit by the pitch, that is the 7th time a Philadelphia hitter has been hit by a pitch in this series. Here's a 1-0. Strike one. There's a list. Tied with Pujols, Edmonds, Chipper Jones. National League all-time with his 13 postseason home runs. Ball two. Strike two. Talked about it the other night. The long layoffs for starting pitchers who are creatures of habit. They get in their routines during the regular season. When you get into the postseason, you have the long layoff between starts. It's the same for guys out of the bullpen. This is only the 3rd postseason game for Affeldt. So he's been dying for some work, and he's going to get it here tonight. The 2-2. Worth just got a piece.
It's really even more important for guys out of the bullpen because they can't have bullpen sessions like starters can. Starters are on a much more rigid routine than guys in the bullpen.
There's Ramirez, who is still up. Ball three.
Jason Worth struck out 147 times this year. I don't think Charlie Manuel will send the runners here. He had speed on its second, maybe, but not with Polanco down there.
That's foul.
We learned last year during the World Series that Charlie Manuel does not like to send the runners anyway with a count 3-2. He thinks the movement behind the hitter is too much, and he'd rather have a quiet background for a guy like Jason Worth.
He is a hitter's manager. There is no doubt.
No doubt about it.
Long-time hitting coach. Worth hits it in the air to right center field. Coming to get it is Cody Ross. 2 on, 2 out. So Affelt took over, struck out Howard. He gets Worth on a fly ball to right. And the switch hitting Victorino is digging his way in. Two on, 2 out. Victorino singled his first time up. Ball 1. This was a Giants team that during the regular season led Major League Baseball in ERA, strikeouts, and opponents' average against. Bruce Bochy's team is here because of its pitching. He is getting good work out of Jeremy Affelt in relief here in the 3rd. His 1-0. Off the end of the bat, that ball will stay fair. Huff will go to the bag to end the threat. A walk, a hit batsman. The 2 benches empty. Sanchez is gone. Affelt took care of the rest. We got tension. We've got action. We've got game 6 tied at 2 after 3. Roy Oswalt will go back to the hill, a 2-2 game. Phillies got 2 in the 1st. San Francisco got 2 in the 3rd, and here we are in the 4th with Cody Ross, Juan Uribe, Edgar Renteria. Cody Ross is first. Ball 1. Ross bounced into a 5-4-3 double play his first time. He is 6 for 17 in this series. Pitch missed up a bit, 2-0. So that's 3 straight innings that the Giants have put the lead man in the batter's box, and that first guy has gotten a hit. Included Jonathan Sanchez. There's a strike, 2-1. Fooled on that pitch. It's 2-2. Game 4 starter Madison Bumgarner is starting to get loose. Giants are going to need somebody to eat some innings here tonight on the mound, because their lefty, the starter, that man Sanchez, pitched only 2 innings. Right side, foul ball, long run. Worth, what a catch! And he hung on for the out. Wow.
And he's uninjured. Dangerous play near the stands. That's why he slides. Not only he slid, but Howard slid. You got to work on this. It's a good thing that gate opened when he kicked the fence. That gate had some give.
Uribe pops it up, left side, foul ball, Polanco. 2 out. Tell you, Scott Boras, Jason Worth's agent, probably had to catch his breath after that play in right. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by E-Trade. 2 out, nobody on. The batter will be Renteria. Boras will be the agent when Jason Worth heads into free agency during this offseason, and he has been the primary right-handed power source in this Philadelphia lineup. Been right there, a part of it, as the Phillies try and win their 3rd consecutive National League pennant, down 3 games to 2 here to the Giants. If he does leave, and that seems to be the prevailing thought with regard to where he will end up next year, somewhere other than in a Phillies uniform, this team will miss him.
Anybody would miss the talent of Jason Worth. How about the choreography of that play in foul territory with Howard getting down, Worth getting down, and neither getting hurt?
2-0 pitch, Renteria takes a strike. Here you go, Fosse. Here's your choreography.
Little night music. Ended up well for the Phillies.
Here's a 2-1. Renteria takes high. On deck is Fontenot. He would bat for Raffel. The 3-1. Full count. And just to finish the thought on Worth and the Phillies, their big prospect. And on their roster right now, Dominic Brown. He is a left-handed hitter. Worth hits right-handed and hits home runs. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on for Renteria. Threw the bat at it, fouled it down the left field line. Our E-Trade stock watch, it involves Jason Worth, who hit a home run, had an outfield assist in Game 5, 13th career postseason home run, tie National League record. And for the Giants, in their postseason history, we can be more detailed. But when they've been in this situation before, on the road, up 3 games to 2, have not been able to win the series in a best-of-7. Renteria pops it up. Worth to catch this in his pocket. Inning over. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Phillies will bat. Ibanez, Ruiz, Oswalt coming up, tied at 2. Our AT&T trivia question: the last National League team to come back from a 3 games to 1 deficit to win a postseason series. The answer: the Marlins in 2003 over the Cubs. Dusty Baker, longtime manager of the San Francisco Giants and man who was there at the series when the games were in San Francisco, manager of the Cubs. 1 win away, could not finish it. Marlins won it all as they beat the Yankees that year in the World Series. Beckett, a big part of that win for Florida. That's outside as Affelder came on last inning after Sanchez was taken out. Went through Howard, Worth, and Victorino. 1, 2, 3. We'll deal with Ibanez, Ruiz, and Oswalt. 1-1. Breaking ball had Ibanez locked up, strike 2.
Yeah, after going up 3 games to 1 against the Marlins, Cubby fans thought that they would be going to the World Series for the first time since 1945, and that was not to be.
Ibanez popped up his first time. 1-2 to the shortstop. Renteria has time as he out, 1 away. When we gave you our E-Trade stock watch last inning, to be more specific, for the Giants in their franchise history, obviously before they went to San Francisco in 24, they were up 3 games to 2, then going on the road trying to win the World Series. They lost to Washington. 87, they lost the NLCS in St. Louis, and then in 2002 lost the World Series in Anaheim. So trying to end that Win here on the road in Philadelphia. Strike one to Ruiz. Carlos grounded to short his first time up. Ball one. The 1-1 pitch. Strike two. Affelt could give this San Francisco team some big outs here early.
Already has.
Struck out Howard, got Worth on a fly ball to right, and got Victorino as he entered last inning with 2 on, nobody out in a tie game.
Yeah, the pitcher spot is up first in the 5th inning. Jeremy trying to get through these 2 innings of scoreless ball.
2-2. Still 2-2 to Ruiz, who has reached base in 27 of his last 28 postseason games.
.420 on base percentage, the best all time for catchers in the postseason.
0 for 1 tonight. The 2-2. 2 out. Second strikeout for Affelt, and Oswalt will be the hitter. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Get movies a month before Netflix with DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. DirecTV.
Right.
2 out for Oswalt, who grounded out his first time up. Little flaring to right. Cody Ross coming on. Nice catch. Got a good jump. And a 1-2-3 inning for Affelt, who has faced 6, retired all 6. 2-2 after 4 in Game 6. Back after this from your local Fox station. Tomorrow on Fox NFL Sunday, McNabb and the Redskins battle the Bears in Chicago, or it's the Eagles and Titans. Good game. 49ers, Panthers, Rams, Buccaneers. Cardinals are in Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Coverage begins tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, with a Ford Fox NFL pregame show brought to you by the all-new Ford Edge. Drive one. Check local listings for the game in your area. Former Eagle Donovan McNabb against Jay Cutler, who has been getting knocked sideways behind the Bears offensive line so far this season. They battle tomorrow in one of the matchups on Fox. So here's Fontenot batting for Affelt, who was great coming out of the bullpen. He restored order for the Giants after Sanchez hit Chase Utley. The ball is a little up. Oswalt was shocked to hear ball 2 instead of strike 1, and Bumgarner, who was the starter in Game 4, is getting ready. Fontenot pinch hitting, takes a strike. Fontenot 2 for 13 this postseason. Started the year with the Cubs. Two and 2. No hits against Affelt, 2 strikeouts. Top of the order will bat for the Phillies in the bottom of this 5th. Change up and a base hit into right off the bat of Fontenot to start the 5th inning for San Francisco.
Fontenot, very, very good pinch hitter. He's 4 for 8 with the Giants this year.
Now we'll see how the Giants want to play it with Torres, who's all of a sudden swinging a hot bat. He's 2 for 2 in this game against Oswalt. Polanco was already in at third, runner at first, nobody out.
Well, you could bunt, you could hit and run if the count is in Torres' favor. I think they'll bunt. Wrong.
Instead, he swings and fouls it out of play. Left side. Tim, there's no right answer. I mean, come on, don't be so hard on yourself. Bruce Bochy trying to stay aggressive. Doesn't mean he'll stay with. Torres trying to hit his way on.
Yeah, could have given him one shot and then bunted.
Fondo is on. Held on by Howard at first. There's the bunt, and it is a foul ball. It hit Torres while he was in the box. And Oswalt
pointing with his glove, saying it hit him in fair territory, looked like to me. We'll see. Here comes Charlie Manuel.
Still in the box, looked like. He's on his way out.
See, part of the box right there is in fair territory. That's the thing, I mean, about the batter's box. Part of that batter's box is in fair territory, so it depends on what part of the box you're talking about.
Mild argument put up by Oswalt, then Charlie Manuel. The count's 0-2. So there was your bunt attempt. One pitch later, and now Torres in the hole. And a strikeout. A 67-mile-per-hour changeup from Oswalt for his third strikeout of the night.
Talk about a floater. That's what happens when you strike out a hitter on high fastballs. You got to be ready, geared up, way out in front. That 62-mile-an-hour changeup.
That was like a changeup curveball, like almost like a mini Ephus pitch. Just tumbling to the plate. And Oswalt gets Torres for out number 1. This one is into center off the bat of Freddie Sanchez, and it's 2 on with 1 out in the 5th. Sanchez on base for the first time tonight. And just like that, San Francisco has 2 on for Aubrey Huff, who has a single and an RBI in this game. His base hit up the middle scored Sanchez back in the 3rd, and then he eventually scored the tying run on a ball hit on the infield by Posey that went for an error on Polanco. 2-2 game, and that's outside, ball 1. Aubrey Huff in a key spot for the Giants. Strike 1. 94 from Oswalt.
Oswalt came right into the power slot of Aubrey Huff, a very good inside hitter, looking for his first home run of the postseason. Phillies, for the most part, have stayed away from Aubrey.
The 1-1. Blocked by Ruiz, who's one of the best in baseball at doing that. Ball 2. Here's a 2-1. Ball 3. That has been the case this postseason. The impact of Cody Ross. It's been over 250 at bats. And somebody other than Cody Ross went deep. That was Burrell in the division series against the Braves. That is in that same spot. Swung on and missed by Huff. It's a full count. Popped up, left side, playable for Polanco. In foul ground. 2 out.
Good piece of pitching by Oswalt. Curveball missed. Behind in the count, he comes inside. Changeup misses, and with the count 3-1 inside. Full count, popped up right down the pipe. Aubrey Huff had one to hit and popped it up.
And now it's up to the rookie Buster Posey. So far this postseason for the Giants, Posey is 1 for 10 in Giant losses, but hitting .400 in wins. So right there in that cleanup spot. And they've won. Posey's been a big part of it. 2 on, 2 out.
Cross up.
Ruiz able to keep it at the plate. It's tough to win a Gold Glove when you're in the same league as Yadier Molina. Ruiz hasn't won one, but I don't know of anybody that does a better job at blocking pitches, even though he was in the category of crossed up here.
Well, that is terrifying when you're a catcher and you're looking for an off-speed pitch and you get the fastball.
There are a lot of good catchers in the National League that watch Johnny Bench take the Gold Glove year after year. Some guys in the National League that have to appreciate the work of Yadier Molina, but Ruiz is right there. 2 on, 2 out, no balls, 1 strike. Posey takes a strike. It's 0-2. Just fought it off.
We talked about it. That hitting of Buster Posey in the 9th inning of game 4. When he hit that single to right field on that pitch about 3 inches outside. And so far tonight with 2 strikes, Oswalt's come inside hard.
Leadoff hit by Fontenot, a 1-out hit by Sanchez, now 2 out. Runners at first and second, tie game in the 5th. Spoiled it.
Here's that hit the other night with 2 strikes with Aubrey Huff on at first base. Nice play by Worth. First and third, Uribe with the sacrifice fly to win it for the Giants.
Ruiz handles that pitch low, ball 1. Asked the home plate umpire, Oswalt did what the count was. It is 1 ball, 2 strikes. That first pitch that crossed up Ruiz went as strike 1. The 1-2. Buster Posey, who was called up May 29th, got into 108 games, took over the catching position. The Giants moved Benji Molina to the Texas Rangers to clear that position for Posey. He is not an easy out. The breakdown of the pitches by Oswalt to Posey here tonight. Predominantly fastballs. Another 1-2. Another fastball. It's 2-2. The 2-2. Oswalt through 5. Giants have stranded 5. Top of the order coming up for the Phillies. Tied at 2. We have had plenty of action. We've had some tension. We've seen benches empty. Good defense. We've seen an error lead to a run. And throughout all that, it's a 2-2 game here in Game 6. Bottom of the 5th and the top of the order against Madison Bumgarner, who was the starter in Game 4. That was on Wednesday. The game where Oswalt came on in the 9th inning and took the loss in relief. Madison went 4 2/3, allowed 3 runs on 6 hits. Here's a base hit into right, and Rollins is on to start the 5th for Philadelphia. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet, the official vehicle of Major League Baseball.
Jimmy Rollins was picked off by Madison Bumgarner the other night. Charlie Manuel telling us before the series that Polanco against a left-handed pitcher is a perfect hit-and-run candidate. He got it right here.
Strike 1 to Placido, who has walked twice, scored a run. Madison Bumgarner, who is on this active roster, made the start in Game 4. The veteran left-hander Barry Zito is not. Turned 21 on the 1st of August. And so a 21-year-old on the mound, a 23-year-old behind the plate, trying to navigate this 5th inning, Game 6, and having to work against the top of the Philadelphia lineup. Gave up a leadoff hit to Rollins, on for the first time tonight as he's back in the leadoff spot. Here is an 0-1. Polanco pops it into left center field, easy for Torres. 1 on, 1 out. Chase Utley is coming up. He was involved in the 3rd inning, and he was involved July 30th, 2009 against Jonathan Sanchez. First pitch of the at-bat over his head. 5th pitch of the at-bat last year, a home run. Taking Sanchez out of the park in San Francisco. Then back in the 3rd inning, even though in the situation here it was, in our opinion, unintentional. Utley was hit by Jonathan Sanchez. The ball bounced back to him. He flipped the ball to the mound. Sanchez didn't like it. The two had words. The bench is emptied. Nobody was ejected, but Sanchez was taken out. He because he was wild through 2+ innings.
Yeah, he may have been trying to come inside on him, but to hit him with the runner on at first and nobody out in a tie game, Game 6 of the NLCS, no chance.
The 0-1. Utley in the air to left center field. Torres back to his right. 2 out. The result of all of that, as Ryan Howard walks in, was this.
Roy, got the pitching warning. Pitching warning's in effect, okay? You don't have to change anything, but just let it know it's in effect.
That was Tom Hallion, who, by the way, as Tim mentioned, did a great job when the bench is empty of getting down there and helping to clear up that situation. That means that both sides have been warned that anything in the umpire's opinion is intentionally thrown at a hitter would lead to an ejection of not just the pitcher but his manager as well. But again, the situation is taken into effect, and it's not always automatic that a hit batsman leads to an ejection. Rollins on with nobody out. Now he's there with 2 out, and he draws a throw.
Because the umpires do not want to take the ability of coming inside away from a pitcher. You can't do that. And that's why it's worded that in their opinion, if you're throwing at a hitter as opposed to coming inside, then you're gone and your manager's gone.
Posey again calls time behind the plate. Bumgarner did not appear in relief this season with the Giants. He did last year. He was a September call-up. And on the 3rd of October, worked in relief. It's 2-0 on Ryan Howard, who has singled and struck out. And who was 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk against his left-hander in Game 4. Here's a 2-0. That's in the gap in left center field. That ball will get down and go to the wall. Rollins will fly to third. They're going to hold him there on a double by Ryan Howard. Second and third, 2 out.
Boy, what a great play by Andres Torres, the center fielder, on the perfect carom. Had that ball rattle around, there's no way Sam Palazzo, the third base coach, doesn't send Jimmy Rollins. But the perfect carom to Torres, and Palazzo has to hold Rollins up at third even with 2 outs. There is no question that Rollins is running better.
And Ryan Howard, who's been hearing so much about no RBIs this postseason, has come close. He had a base hit the opposite way with Utley at second and 1 out in the first. Now he gets a double with Rollins running the bases, but Rollins is held at third. Now the intentional walk to Jason Worth will load him up for Victorino. That was the second hit of the night and the 7th of this LCS for Ryan Howard. Still no RBIs.
I know he's having a tough time right now, but Shane Victorino led the Phillies in hitting against left-handed pitching this year. He batted .320, did the switch hitter.
But number 8 here, Victorino, will bat with the bases loaded 2 out in a tie game in the 5th.
Yeah, Bruce Bochy going on how Victorino is hitting right now, not what he did during the season.
He has a postseason grand slam. That was against Sabathia, who at the time was pitching for Milwaukee. Back in 08, the division series. So batting right-handed that game. And that at bat as well. Bases loaded, Victorino. Ball 1. Ramirez getting loose, but by loading the bases, that has put the pressure on the 21-year-old left-hander to throw strikes. Back to Bumgarner, makes the play and throws a strike to first. The inning is over. 2 hits, a walk. 3 left in the inning, 7 on the night. Into the 6th inning of Game 6, tied at 2. Well, Pat Burrell is first up. Here is his history. #1 overall pick by the Phillies in '98. Won a ring with Philadelphia in 2008. The next year signed with the Tampa Bay Rays, released this May 15th. Signed with the Giants on May 29th, and he has added a presence in their lineup and in their clubhouse. He takes a strike. 18 home runs during the regular season. He has 4 hits in 17 at-bats in this NLCS against his former club. 1 home run this postseason. Looked like he was trying to call time, didn't get it. And the count 0-2.
Oswalt works very rapidly. Good curveball out of the strike zone.
Here's the 0-2. Hit in the air down the left field line into the corner. Foul.
When Pat Burrell was released by the Tampa Bay Rays, he went back to his home in Scottsdale and said, it was May 15th. Wait a minute. It's too hot here to stay here in the summertime. I've got to play baseball. He told me that before the game. So his agent got him a job, either San Diego or the Giants. It was the Giants. And have they ever been pleased?
Grew up a Giants fan as a kid, and he takes a pitch in the dirt, ball 1.
Said it's 120 degrees during the summertime. Here, I can't stay here. Go to a cooler place. And he did, San Francisco.
Here's a 1-2. 2-2. As Bruce Bochy, his manager, said, we picked him up to be a pinch hitter off the bench, but he forced his way into the lineup. Roy Oswalt, who was very particular for the baseball that's in his hand, just got a new baseball. He's been doing that since the start of the night. If he feels one he doesn't like, he gives it back. Has one he likes and waits for his 2-2 pitch to Pat Burrell. Popped up, foul ball, out of play. Talked about it in Game 1 of this series. Pat Burrell had a lot of expectations when he was brought up. Had some success, obviously not always, and he said it was never up to me to decide if I lived up to the expectations. Fans got on him from time to time. He was part of a winner in '08. The 2-2 pitch. Able to foul it back. Oswalt slows it down now. Burrell's 1 for 2. The 2-2. Full count. Cody Ross will follow, and then Juan Uribe. This time Burrell does get time. Before a 3-2 pitch. Here it is from Oswalt, and he pulled the string and gets the strikeout number 5 on the night. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV.
Taking something off the breaking ball to get Pat Burrell.
I've seen him do that a few times in this game. That was 69-mile-an-hour pitch.
Such a disparity between the fastball and the curveball. Using the curveball a lot more tonight than he did 6 days ago.
Cody Ross, who homered against Oswalt in game 2. Tonight he's bounced into a double play and fouled out to right. Took an acrobatic catch by Worth to get him back in the 4th, and now he's in the hole 0-2. Ball 1. Oswalt is due up 3rd in the bottom of the 6th. Here comes pitch number 90 on the night from Oswalt. Lined into the left field corner. That ball is fair. One hops the wall. Ibanez gets it back in. Ross has a double.
That was a changeup, middle of the plate. Oswalt wanted that ball away, but Cody Ross waiting on it and pulls yet another one. Curveball fouled away. Fastball fouled away. And here's the change inside part of the plate. And another extra base hit for Cody Ross.
Uribe is at the plate. Ruiz is out at the mound talking to Oswalt. Go-ahead run is at second with 1 out here in the 6th inning for the Giants, who trailed 2-0 after 1. J.C. Romero, a left-hander, getting loose for Philadelphia in their pen. Runner at second, 1 out. And a ball inside to Uribe. Here's a 1-0. That hits Uribe to put 2 on. And again, even though each side has been warned, in the discretion of the home plate umpire, Uribe's hit by the pitch, unintentional. And Oswalt will stay in the game and now gets a visit from his pitching coach, Rich Doobie. The batter will be Renteria, and Jose Contreras, a right-hander.
Once again, if you issue a warning as a home plate umpire, you cannot take the inside part of the plate away from a pitcher. And there is a chance that when you do come inside, you're going to hit a batter. And that's what happened with Uribe right then, the inside fastball plunking. Appear to be any intent there. Certainly, as far as the home plate umpire was concerned, there was no intent.
So Contreras, a right-hander, joins Romero in the bullpen. Action starts for the Giants in their pen. 2 on, 1 out, and the batter is Renteria. Strike one. Travis Ishikawa, a left-handed hitter, has come into the on-deck circle. But right now it's a battle between Oswalt and Renteria. Strike two.
Two perfect breaking balls in a good spot. Just out of the strike zone.
Casilla gets loose for the Giants. Throwing the bat at the ball, it's foul. So the count stays 0-2. And Edgar Renteria, who has a World Series winning hit in Game 7 for the Marlins, to his credit, is trying to fight his way on here against Oswalt.
Oswalt has made 3 nasty pitches, all curveballs.
Renteria right on top of the plate.
Sure, why not? If he comes inside with a fastball, you try to fight it off. But after 3 curveballs, you're going to inch closer to the plate.
2 on, 1 out, and Oswalt gives a look back at Cody Ross, who has a 1-out double in this inning. Tried to do it again. Renteria lays off. Ball 1. This time the home plate umpire wanted to check the baseball. Checked it, looked okay, and he gave it back to Oswalt. Renteria is not hit by the pitch. It's a foul ball. Edgar Renteria tried to sell it. Home plate umpire Tom Hallion said foul ball immediately.
Remember, Renteria inching toward the plate. And it was a foul ball. Good acting job by Renteria. You got to give him credit.
That ball hit the bat, and it's still 1-2.
Oswalt trying to drive him off the plate after inching closer to that outside corner.
The 1-2. Laid off it again. Same pitch from Oswalt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2. Ground ball. Oswalt can't knock it down. Utley makes the play to end the inning. They've been talking about Utley's defense this entire NLCS. Couldn't make a play on a ball hit by Sanchez earlier. Nice double play, turned to his right. Still tied at 2 into the bottom of the 6th. Raul Ibanez first up. Takes on Bumgarner, the left-hander, who got into and out of trouble in the 5th. Fires a strike to Ibanez. Ryan Madsen gets loose. The pitcher Oswald is due up 3rd in this 6th inning for the Phillies. Ibanez 0 for 2. Takes ball 1. Ibanez had 2 hits in game 5 2 nights ago. Charlie Manuel thought he took better at bat, so even against a left-handed starter, he left him in there for this game 6 start. Now he is up on the count, 2-1. Then Francisco is getting ready in the dugout. Could be the pinch hitter for Oswald. The 2-1. Left side, past Uribe. Down the left field line, Ibanez will go. The throw by Burrell, not in time. It's a leadoff double.
Raul Ibanez, left in there, started as a left-handed hitter against a left-handed pitcher. The 3rd left-hander the Giants have featured tonight. Doubles down the left field line. Could be a very, very important hit for the Phillies.
Here's a bunt by Ruiz. Over to 3rd goes Ibanez. 1 out. Perfect bunt by Ruiz. And now with a lefty on the mound, Ben Francisco will come to the plate to bat for Oswald. We could see Casilla come out of the bullpen for the Giants.
And then Charlie Manuel would go to Ross Glode, the left-handed pinch hitter.
So it's now in Bochy's lap. Does he want the young left-hander Bumgarner against Francisco? Or does he want to force another move and bring in Casilla? He'll stick with the lefty.
And what he's brought in is the infield.
Ben Francisco takes a ball. Francisco, who came to the Phillies with Cliff Lee in the deal with the Indians last July. The 1-0. 2-0.
Which team will be facing Cliff Lee on Wednesday night in game 1 of the World Series?
The 2-0. Big rip by Francisco.
That was a pitch to hit right there.
Francisco got the start in game 4, went 1 for 4. That's strike 2. A leadoff double by Ibanez, a bunt for a sacrifice by Ruiz. And time called at the plate. The 2-2. Got him looking 2 away. And Francisco, who had the count in his favor, 2-0, strikes out looking.
Well, he missed that 2-0 fastball and then took the breaking ball on the outside part of the plate for strike 3. Fine pitch by Bumgarner to get Francisco.
And now Jimmy Rollins. His first turn in the leadoff spot in this series, and he's up with a runner at third, 2 out. Ball 1. Phillies left the bases loaded last inning, trying to take advantage of a leadoff double here in the 6th. 1-0. Rollins hits one well into left center field, got under it a bit. Torres is there, and the inning is over. A leadoff double is wasted by Philadelphia, still tied at 2. Into the 7th. Here comes Madsen back after this from your local Fox station. Coming in 5-0 in the regular season here in his new home, Philadelphia, after the trade from Houston. 1-0 this postseason with a win in Game 2. Here tonight, cannot get the victory. We're into the bullpen on each side now. 6 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned, 9 hits. Struck out 6, walked nobody, hit a batter, and now it's Ryan Madsen,
who struck out the side on Thursday night in the 8th inning against the Giants. Right the middle of the order.
Ishikawa at the plate batting for Bumgarner. Strike 1. Talked about it 2 nights ago. Fastballs, changeups from Ryan Madsen. And Javier Lopez, who has been dominant this postseason and in this series, getting ready for the bottom of the 7th. Here's an 0-1. Strike 2, 94 from Ryan Madsen.
Hey, you find out about a young pitcher in a hurry in the postseason. 21-year-old Madison Bumgarner, after that leadoff double, retiring the Phillies without allowing the Phillies to score.
That skips in, ball 1.
Once your ability is established, the best thing your teammates can say about you as a pitcher is that you are unafraid. And all the Giants say that about Bumgarner.
He was tremendous on the heels of Affelt being great out of the bullpen as Ishikawa spoils it. Oh, gosh. Fans, Game 3 of the World Series on Saturday, October 30th. It starts at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Make sure to log on to MLB.com/Halloween and submit a picture to be considered for a special World Series of Costumes promotion. Now we're part of Star Trek.
We're Trekkies.
Here's the 1-2. Down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Winning pictures will be shown during the telecast of the game. Game 3, October 30th, starts at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific here on Fox. Madsen steps off, gets back on. The next to Ishikawa. Spoiled it. Geico in-game box score for San Francisco. 2 hits for Andres Torres, who's getting hot. Sanchez has a hit. Aubrey Huff with an RBI single. The other run scored on an error by Polanco. So only 1 RBI tonight for the Giants. It's a 2-2 game in the 7th. The 2-2 pitch on the outside corner, 1 away.
Right there. Ryan Madsen normally comes in for the Phillies in the 8th inning. I think the reason Charlie Manuel wants him in the 7th, he expects 2 innings out of him. He has not done that this year. Pitched 2 innings in any appearance.
That's ball 1 to Torres. Madsen has struck out the last 5 batters he's faced in this series, including tonight. There's a strike to Andres Torres, who is 2 for 3. Struck out in the 5th. That's low, 2-1.
Also, his biggest contribution tonight may have been playing that perfect carom off the left center field wall to prevent Jimmy Rollins from scoring on that double by Ryan Howard.
That was in the 5th.
Here it is one more time. Rollins on its first base with 2 outs. Played perfectly by Torres to hold Rollins at third.
Phillies have stranded 8. Giants have left 6 and hit into 2 double plays. So missed chances on each side. Most recently, the Phillies just spoiled a leadoff double and had the bases loaded in the 5th, got nothing. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Andres Torres with 1 out. Strike 2. 2-2. Two out, another strikeout.
Madsen blows another away.
Ball 1 to Freddie Sanchez. You look what the bullpen has done for Philadelphia. The statistics are so impressive. This is up to date this postseason, that bottom line. 16 2/3 innings pitched, an ERA at 1.62. And strike 1 on Sanchez.
This has been a pitcher series top to bottom. Brilliant pitching for both sides.
And the Giants bullpen tonight has been outstanding.
Yep.
Affelt and Bumgarner. Here's a 1-1. In the air to left field down the line. That's a fair ball into the corner. Freddie Sanchez will cruise into second base with a 2-out double. So there's the go-ahead run here in the 7th inning, and it will bring in Aubrey Huff.
Not only a base hit with 2 outs, but a high fastball. Sanchez jumps on it and doubles down the line.
So that quiets this crowd. It brings in Huff, who in this postseason is now 5 for 28. With 8 strikeouts against right-handed pitching, and he is dealing with Ryan Madsen. They're going to walk Huff and pitch to the rookie Buster Posey.
That was interesting. You don't see a catcher go out to the mound and talk to a pitcher if the hitter is going to be walked intentionally. So I think Ruiz going out there coerced Charlie Manuel to say, well, let's just walk him instead of pitching around him. And they'll pitch to Buster Posey, who has 5 hits in the NLCS, but 4 of those came in 1 game. I think, regardless of what happens, this is a good move. Makes sense.
Brings Rich Doobie out of the dugout now, the pitching coach, to talk about the approach with Posey, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Two nights ago, Game 5, the first batter Madsen faced was Buster Posey and struck him out. That was that at bat on Thursday night. Runners in scoring position, 1 for 5 with an RBI. Posey did put the ball in play in the 3rd, which led to the Polanco throwing error, which led to the game-tying run when Aubrey Huff scored from second base. No scoring since then. It's 2-2. And a chance here for Posey. Ball 1 low.
Infielders reminding themselves to play deep. If they can't make a play, knock it down. You could see Chase Utley on the outfield grass. He's that deep. So is Rollins.
Ball 2. The 2-0. Hard hit. There's Utley. Makes the play. Inning over. And now the Giants have left 8. And we're still tied at 2. Give you our game summary. Phillies got 2 runs in the first inning. RBIs by Utley and Worth. And the Giants bullpen tonight after Jonathan Sanchez pitched into the 3rd inning. 4 innings. Just 3 hits, 1 strikeout, and a walk. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by BlackBerry. Phillies coming to the plate here in the bottom of the 7th. This game is tied 2-2. The Geico in-game box score. Rollins has a hit. Polanco hitless but 2 walks. Utley an RBI double. Couple of hits but no RBIs for Howard. Sac fly from Jason Worth, and the 4th straight left-hander on the mound for San Francisco, Javier Lopez, who has been brilliant against the Phillies in this series. Ball 1 outside. Polanco has walked twice, scored a run, fly to center. Chase Utley and Ryan Howard the next 2. Picked up from Pittsburgh by the Giants at the deadline. That's ball 2. He's been a workhorse ever since for Bruce Bochy. That's a strike, 2-1. The 2-1 from Lopez is popped into right center field, slices to Cody Ross. 1 out. And now Chase Utley, who coming into tonight's game in his career against left-handed pitching in the postseason, hitting .145, but he does have 5 home runs against lefties, and he has an RBI double against the starter Sanchez and a run scored here tonight. Buster Posey after the foul tip. Strike one.
This could be the one thing to drive Buster Posey out of that position. He is such a good athlete, such a good player. The rigors of catching. Maybe just too tough for him to continue in that position. He may be more valuable to the Giants as an outfielder, left fielder perhaps. Started catching his sophomore year in college at Florida State.
See how far back on the right side of the infield Freddie Sanchez, the second baseman, Aubrey Huff, the first baseman, are. Any little push bunt that got past the pitcher. For a guy who was hitless in his career against Javier Lopez, might not be a bad choice. As he comes up empty, that's strike two. That eliminates that chance, and Utley is a guy who can pop the ball out of the park. Javier Lopez has had his number. No home runs from Utley or Howard in this series, and only one between them this postseason. That was hit by this man against the Reds in the division series. The 0-2. Lopez makes the play. 2 up, 2 down. With the bases empty, Ryan Howard will be the hitter. Chevrolet and baseball have teamed up to give fans a chance to win postseason tickets or an all-new 2011 Chevrolet Cruze. Register at worldseries.com/cruise for your shot at the big prize. Well, if you thought the first baseman and second baseman were playing deep before, there's this defensive alignment. The switch with all three of those infielders on the right side, and Freddie Sanchez playing a shallow right field. Strike one from Lopez. Strike two.
Sometimes if you're a hitter, all you have to do is look at the outfielders. Look where Cody Ross is. I mean, Freddie Sanchez is actually playing Howard more to pull than Cody Ross, which means that the Giants are going to pitch Howard away, make him go away, particularly in this ballpark.
Lays off the pitch, ball one. Santiago Casilla getting ready. 2 out, nobody on here in the 7th for Philadelphia. 2-2. The 2-2. Howard strikes out, and Lopez puts up another scoreless inning. He has been sensational into the 8th inning. Game 6, still tied at 2. Beautiful shot of this great city all lit up. Philadelphia. Our aerial coverage is brought to you by DirecTV. For the most sports period, call 1-800-DirecTV. Into the 8th inning now. Game 6 tied at 2, and here is Pat Burrell. 1 for 3 tonight, facing Ryan Madsen. Ball 1. Burrell with the only other home run this postseason. Hit by a Giant not named Ross. Down toward the end of the bat, Rollins can take his time. Low but out. Almost took too much time. Burrell hustling. He was out by a step. And And here comes the aforementioned Cody Ross, who has popped 4 home runs this postseason, 3 in this NLCS. Had a double his last time up. San Francisco up 3 games to 2 on Philadelphia as we play in the 8th. Ball 1.
Cody Ross has had such a good series, and coming into the series here in postseason play was paltry against the Phillies this year. 6 for 41 as a member of the Florida Marlins. So he did not hit the Phillies well during the season, but he is as a Giant.
Here is a 1-0. A ball and a strike. The Phillies in the bottom of this 8th will have Worth, Victorino, and Ibanez. And Tim Lincecum is out in the bullpen. At the moment, just hanging out, but worth showing you. They're stocked out there with right-handers. Here's a fly ball in the air to left. Ross just got under it, and Ibanez has out number 2.
I was thinking the same thing. He didn't miss that by much. We talked about Jason Worth just missing on that sacrifice fly to drive in the second Philly run. Well, Cody Ross just misses this one. Crowds him just a little bit. I think Tim Lincecum is throwing between starts, but I'm not sure. Sometimes starting pitchers will do that. They'll go down and throw late in the game, but can't be sure if this game is important as it is.
Here's Uribe flying one into right. Back at the wall. This ball is gone for a home run. Juan Uribe has gone deep. And with that, the San Francisco Giants lead Game 6 in the 8th. Just over the wall in right. And San Francisco has its first lead of the night.
Juan Uribe, who drove in the winning run with a sac fly in the 9th inning of Game 4, hits a home run to put the Giants ahead here in the 8th inning. Wow.
Just over that fence, on top of the fence, and Uribe, who got the start to play 3rd here tonight, batting 7th, goes deep.
I'll tell you, Lincecum looks like he's warming up to come in the game and not just warming between starts.
So 2 out, nobody on. And an 0-1 pitch skips in to Renteria. Well, the interesting thing is Javier Lopez worked in the 7th. You've got Worth and the switch hitting Victorino, then Ibanez, a lefty. And Lincecum is cranking it up out in the bullpen. 3-2 Giants here in the 8th. Renteria with 2 out hits it foul, strike 2. So many chances on each side all night. And with 2 out, nobody on, it's Uribe who hits a home run the other way. And breaks a 2-2 tie. Renteria strikes out. But the Giants strike in the top of the 8th, and it's Juan Uribe the opposite way, putting the Giants on top 3-2 after 7½. The moves that have been made by the Giants. Cody Ross goes from right to left. Nate Shearholtz is in right as the Giants bolster their defense behind Tim Lincecum, who is making his second career relief appearance and his first since April 2nd, 2008. He threw 104 pitches as he made the start on Thursday night. And even with all the right-handers available to Bruce Bochy in the bullpen, he's going with Lincecum. In relief of Lopez. First up, Worth. Ball one.
It's probably one of those situations where Bochy went up to Tim before the game and said, can you get me a couple of outs if I need them? Well, big outs. And Worth and Victorino.
And he's 2-0. There's a strike. Game one, Jason Worth took Lincecum deep and out of the park in right. 2 of his 4 hits against Lincecum, and that's strike 2. Now Brad Lidge gets loose as we're in the bottom of the 8th, and the Giants lead 3-2. Wilson, the closer for the Giants, gets loose. And a strikeout starts the bottom of the 8th as Lincecum comes in and takes care of Worth. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by Travelers, insurance for auto, home, and business. So Worth is gone and Victorino will be the hitter. Shane 1 for 3 tonight. Strike 1.
Victorino doubly dangerous because if he gets on, he can steal a base more than any other Philly.
Against a pitcher that you can run on.
Right.
Strike 2. The numbers for Victorino against Lincecum, just 4 for 28. Not a big-bodied, obviously, starting pitcher in Lincecum. 5'11", 163. And he had 2 nights after throwing 104 pitches. And suffering the loss. He's back at it, even with all those right-handers available in the bullpen.
Oh, to be 26 again.
Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Victorino stays up there. So 4 straight left-handers. We're told that's the first time that's happened in postseason history. And now Lincecum, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, accounts 2-2. The 2-2. Just got a piece. For Lincecum, his 127th game, including the postseason. Just his second relief appearance, and he's doing it on 1 day of rest. The 2-2. Just got a piece again.
That one shot by director Bill Webb of him with his arms folded. And then when Uribe hit the home run, he started warming up for real.
The 2-2. Victorino gets one into right. And the tying run is on with one out. Good at bat by Victorino as he gets his second hit of Game 6. Now Ibanez, who hit 16 home runs during the regular season, who does not have an RBI this postseason.
27 base runners, stole second base in 30 tries against Lincecum this year. Only 3 of 30 caught stealing.
And the Phillies ran on him in Game 5. Ball 1 to Ibanez.
Posey, Lincecum's catcher, has a rifle of an arm.
3 steals against Lincecum in Game 5. Ibanez, strike 1. Ibanez into right field, a base hit. And it's 2 on with 1 out for the Phillies in the 8th.
Going to his closer.
Bruce Bochy's already made the call. The closer for the Giants, Brian Wilson's coming in. Lincecum struck out Worth, gave up back-to-back hits, and he is gone here in the 8th. Tim Lincecum had an out-of-nowhere relief appearance for San Francisco. Struck out the first man, gave up back-to-back hits. And Brian Wilson takes over. He had 6 5-out saves during the regular season. Ruiz takes a strike. Wilson had the most 4+ out saves in baseball this year. Blew one of those opportunities in the division series Game 2 against Atlanta in San Francisco this postseason. Ruiz nicely blocked by Posey to keep the runners at first and second. The 1-1. Right side. Out. Throw to second. Double play. And the inning is over. Victorino is doubled off second on a line drive to first. Huff fed Renteria, and the inning is over. The Phillies get 2 hits. Leave a man. Have stranded 9. Into the 9th we go. San Francisco on top. 3-2. The Phillies ask Brad Lidge to keep it a 1-run game. It's 3-2 Giants into the 9th inning. Nate Schierholtz will get his first at bat of the night. He'll be followed by Andres Torres and then Freddie Sanchez. Strike 1 from Lidge. Work of the bullpen from San Francisco. Affelt, Bumgarner, Lopez, Lincecum got a strikeout but gave up 2 hits. Then Brian Wilson gets a line drive for a double play. Phillies got 2 runs in the first inning and have not scored since. Shearholtz is a quick strikeout here in the ninth. Our BlackBerry game summary. Phillies got 2 in the first. RBIs by Utley and Worth. Giants bullpen outstanding. No runs scored. They took over in the third. And then Juan Uribe with a go-ahead home run, 2 out, nobody on in the top of the 8th. Here is a bunt attempt by Torres, and it's a base hit. And Utley went down hard on the dirt. He's okay as he pops up. A perfect bunt for a single from Andres Torres.
You could see all 3, nobody knowing who is going to field this ball. Howard staying back. Now Utley has to make the try, and Torres has a bunt base hit, his 3rd single of the night. And obviously a threat to run.
He tweaked something. He hurt his left leg. And they're going to bring the trainer out to take a look at Torres, who's trying to get loose.
That's the one thing about that dive into first base, or to any base, really. Just ask Chase Utley, who broke his wrist diving into second base on the 28th of June in Cincinnati. Myriad injuries on plays like this. Charlie Manuel said it's an instinctive play, but it's one instinct that players should be weaned out of.
Torres, who's also a very good defensive center fielder. He's going to stay in. Giants have Aaron Rowand on their bench still. Here's Freddie Sanchez, 1 on, 1 out. Left side base hit. Back-to-back hits. Torres will stop at second. And it's 2 on, 1 out.
Now it becomes very important to find out whether Torres's leg is all right or not, because you don't want to take a chance should Aubrey Huff get a hit to the outfield. He appears to be all right.
Two on for Aubrey Huff, who has an RBI in this game. Takes a ball. In the bottom of this 9th inning, the Phillies will have the 9, 1, and 2 spots. Here's a 1-0. Huff takes strike 1. Phillies did not double switch. So it would be the pitcher spot first up. Then Rollins, then Polanco. The 1-1 pitch. Huff hits it down into the right field corner, hooking foul. Strike 2. Here's a 1-2, and Huff strikes out. 2 away, and the second strikeout for Lidge.
Wicked slider to get Huff.
Well, now you've got Buster Posey up and Brian Wilson on deck, and that brings Charlie Manuel out to the mound.
I think Pablo Sandoval is out there as a decoy. I don't think Bruce Bochy is going to pinch hit for his closer. I don't think you take that chance. You pinch hit and Sandoval makes an out, then you've still got a 1-run game and someone other than Brian Wilson out there. I think that's a decoy by Bruce Bochy.
Right now it's 2 on, 2 out for Buster Posey. When Bruce Bochy made the double switch in the 8th and brought Shearholtz in, he took Burrell out. That spot's next, and Charlie Manuel is going to force the hand of Bruce Bochy, and here comes Brian Wilson.
Yeah, that was a nice try by Bruce Bochy, but Charlie Manuel is not buying that. And I wouldn't either.
You did?
Nope.
This will load him up, and Brian Wilson will be the hitter. So Wilson bats with the bases loaded. In case you're wondering, Wilson was 0 for 5 swinging the bat this season. Strike 1. That's inside. In case you want to know what Brian Wilson looks like without a dyed black beard, that's his headshot that's on the scoreboard here. That is over but low for ball 2, 2-1.
I think Bruce Bochy told him to go up there and don't swing and hope that Brad Lidge gets wild. Well, he's ahead in the count. We'll see.
0 for 9 in his career swinging the bat is Brian Wilson. The 2-1. He chops at it. Ryan Howard makes the pickup, and that ends the inning. Giants leave the bases loaded. Now Wilson will get rid of the batting helmet, grab his hat and his glove, try and save it, and send the Giants into the World Series. Tomorrow on Fox NFL Sunday, McNabb and the Redskins take on the Bears in Chicago. The Eagles and Titans, 49ers, Panthers, the Rams, and Buccaneers. The Cardinals head to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Coverage begins tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, the Ford Fox NFL pregame show. But now it's baseball. Aaron Rowan takes over in center field, so the legs of Andres Torres won't let him continue here tonight. And Ross Gload is first up against Brian Wilson. Phillies down a run, down a game in this NLCS. Gload, ball 1. Brian Wilson came on last inning, got a line drive double play. Phillies have stranded 9. To the second baseman, Sanchez stays down on it, 1 away. Gload is retired, and back to the top of the lineup, Jimmy Rollins. Look at the Giants bullpen tonight, 6+ innings. 5 hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts, a walk. Affelt, Bumgarner, Lopez, Lincecum, now Wilson. Starter Sanchez went just 2+. Jimmy Rollins, ball 1.
Brian Wilson has consistently kept the ball away from left-handed hitters in this series. One-run game. You can expect the same.
Wilson misses 2-0. One blown save this postseason for Brian Wilson, game 2 of the divisional series. Two and one. Brian Wilson, 5 blown saves during the regular season. Trying for his 3rd save of this NLCS. He also has a win. Rollins, strike 2.
Rollins could not hold up. High fastball evens the count.
Here is a 2-2 pitch. Full count. Rollins hit 8 home runs during the regular season.
And Wilson gave up 3.
Another 3-2 pitch. A 1-out walk. That'll bring in Polanco.
Before game 1, Jimmy Rollins telling us that the only way that he will air it out as far as his hamstring, which was bothering him in this series, is if it meant going to the World Series or not.
He stole 2 bases 2 nights ago in game 5. He's the tying run at first with 1 out. Polanco at the plate. Ball 1 inside. A check on Rollins. That was close.
It was. That throw right on the rear end of Jimmy Rollins, and a good play by Aubrey Huff to come up with that ball. Very close.
Polanco grounds to third. Uribe to second, out over to first, safe. And game 6 continues. Uribe got the lead man. 2 out in the inning.
Good play by Uribe. And a good play by Jimmy Rollins to take out Sanchez as Polanco beats the throw.
And now Chase Utley stands in. No home runs this NLCS, 1 this postseason. He has 10 in his career with the Phillies in the postseason. Utley, ball 1. It was 17 years ago tonight, October 23rd, Joe Carter hit a 3-run home run for an 8-6 Toronto win, back-to-back championships for the Blue Jays, beating Philadelphia. Philly fans looking for something big out of Chase Utley here tonight. Up on the count, 2-0. Here's a 2-0. 2-1. Giants 1 out away from their first World Series since 2002. The 2-1. 3 balls and a strike with Ryan Howard on deck.
Wilson Valdez, a utility infielder, is a slightly faster runner than Polanco. Slightly. Charlie Manuel not thinking that it's important to put Valdez in now. But if Utley walks, Valdez could pinch run at second.
Here is a 3-1. Utley takes a walk. 2 walks in the inning. And the big cleanup hitter for the Philadelphia Phillies, Ryan Howard, who does not have an RBI this entire postseason, has it all on him. Signed to a contract extension in season. 4th in the National League with 108 RBIs. And here comes Wilson Valdez to run for Polanco, representing the tying run at second.
Thing about it is you can't play the normal shift that you would play against Ryan Howard because of Valdez at second base. So for the Giants, they're playing the second baseman, Sanchez, in deep second. But the left side of the infield, for the most part, is conventional.
Ryan Howard chases it. 96 from Wilson, strike 1. Ryan Howard has come close twice to getting his first RBI of the postseason in this game. As a double, a single with a runner at second. Still waiting for his first run batted in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brian Wilson, who is no stranger to the white knuckle save, has made it interesting with 2 walks here in the ninth. Inside, 2-1. Strike 2. And the Phillies are down to their final strike. The 2-2 to Ryan Howard. Full count. And the runners will go.
That means Chase Utley at first base will have that extra jump. Short double, long single, he could score.
Runners will go. And Wilson spins, looks back at Valdez. Howard just got a piece. 96 from Brian Wilson. This is about as intense as a baseball game can get. It's this battle. Brian Wilson, Ryan Howard. Who wins? 3-2 pitch. Got him looking, and the Giants win the pennant. Strike 3 called, and Ryan Howard ends this night. And the Giants win at a final of 3-2. The only noise in this park is being made out in the middle of that diamond where the Giants, who were underdogs coming in, got a brilliant effort tonight from their bullpen, got a go-ahead and winning home run from Juan Uribe, and they take out the Philadelphia Phillies as they head to the World Series.
First pitch, a high strike. 2 balls and a strike on the outside corner. Howard fouls it back. And a cut fastball on the 3-2 pitch gets it. I'll tell you, Joe, in another city 3,500 miles away, there's a lot of noise right now. And a strike to Howard, and that ball was a good pitch.
Uribe, the hitting hero tonight. Again. Wilson ends Game 6 with that pitch. In at the knees to strike out Ryan Howard. And Juan Uribe, who won Game 4 with a sacrifice fly to left, hits the home run here tonight with 2 out in the 8th. And San Francisco wins Game 6, 3-2. Let's go down to the field and Ken Rosenthal.
Let's go. We're here with Aubrey Huff, Joe. Joe, Aubrey, people say Giants baseball is torture.
Sure is.
Is this torture or is it heaven?
Right now it's heaven, but it was torture to that final strike, man. I tell you what, we always make it hard on ourselves, but what a big home run Uribe hit there. He's been hitting so many big homers all year long in the late innings. And we just had to make it a little exciting for us, but we nailed it. We nailed it.
Aubrey, talk about your bullpen. 7 innings from them tonight, scoreless. Could you have imagined it going this way?
No, not really. Sanchi had some trouble early on, but he's been lights out all year long for us, and he's one of the biggest reasons we're here. But our bullpen tonight, man, they stepped it up big time.
Yourself, you've played a long time. You've waited a long time for this moment to go to the World Series. Does the journey make it worthwhile?
I'll do it all over again in a heartbeat, my man.
Last question, Aubrey. Juan Uribe, game-winning sacrifice fly in Game 4, go-ahead home run tonight. How is it that that guy is always in the middle of everything?
He's been like that all year long. You live and die with him, man. He can look really bad up there sometimes, but man, he's down there because you can pop one.
Aubrey, thanks a lot. Congratulations.
All right, baby.
Joe, back to you.
Nailed it, boy!
All right, Ken, thank you. Brian Sabean, the general manager of the San Francisco team, made some additions, certainly in the second half of the season. None bigger than Javier Lopez, who got the win here tonight. The left-handed reliever he got from Pittsburgh. And here is, without a doubt, the Travelers' game-changing play of the game. The home run the opposite way. hit by Juan Uribe. And a 3-2 win for San Francisco. Back down to Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Pat, you more than anyone know how good the Phillies are. How did you beat them?
I'll tell you what, we fought. We scratched and clawed, and I don't know how we did it, but we did it. Obviously, with two of our starters coming in like that and pitching says a lot about what these guys wanted to do. And, obviously, a big hit by Uribe, so I don't know what just happened.
They're not happy.
Good, no.
How nerve-wracking was the final inning?
It was tough. It was, watching that was hard. It's a lot easier playing, but, I can't say enough about Wilson coming in and doing what he's been doing all year. He's tough, and he deserves, all the accomplishments he has.
Wednesday night, Cliff Lee in San Francisco. How much are you looking forward to it?
Don't worry about that then. We're going to enjoy this for a while, and we'll be ready to go Wednesday.
Pat, thank you. Congratulations. Joe, back to you.
All right, Ken, thank you. I mentioned Javier Lopez got the win. The heart of the Philadelphia lineup had no answer for Javier Lopez this entire series as the celebration leaves the field and now goes into the clubhouse for the Giants, who will host the Texas Rangers in Game 1 of the World Series on Wednesday night. 3-2 is the final in Game 6. Another one-run game. Brian Wilson salutes after the save. San Francisco wins it. What a series managed by Bruce Bochy. He and his Giants going to the World Series. We will continue just getting started with our postgame here in Philadelphia as the Giants celebrate the National League pennant. Back after this. We welcome you to the Chevrolet postgame show on Fox. On the heels of this San Francisco Giants win here tonight, a final of 3-2. They win this series 4-2. They celebrate on the road. And their celebration is underway inside their clubhouse. We go out to our pregame set, now the postgame set. And Eric Karros, I'll start with you. Tim and I talked a lot tonight about the job put together by the bullpen by the San Francisco Giants, and it really started with Jeremy Affeldt taking over for Sanchez.
Well, it really did. I mean, remember, this is the top of the third inning where they are tied up, okay? Then we go to the bottom of the third. The Phillies start to get some momentum. Two guys get on base, and they bring in Jeremy Affeldt. Strikes out Ryan Howard, a 7-pitch at-bat to Jason Worth, and then gets out of the inning with Victorino. The game could have changed right there. Affeldt goes on to throw 2 innings, shutout ball, keep the Giants in the ball game. And again, another contribution from somebody different every night.
For me, well, Mitch, I'll ask you. If you talk about Affeldt, you got to talk about the guy at the end of the night, and that was Brian Wilson, and he came on in the 8th inning, got a big double play.
Yeah, there's no question. When you look at the decision by Bruce Bochy to bring Lincecum in to start that 8th inning, he gives up the 2 hits, then he goes to his big guy, Brian Wilson, and with Chuck Ruiz at the plate, gets a line drive double play. Victorino should have froze on that ball. I thought Ibanez did a great job. But to get that line drive double play, it shows you right there, this could be the Giants' year.
Well, the Giants are going to the World Series. Guys, thank you very much. We go from that set out in the outfield down underneath and check in with Chris Rose. Chris?
All right, Joe, thank you very much. I am here with a very happy Giants brass. William Newcomb, their managing general partner, team president Larry Baer, general manager Brian Sabian, the manager Bruce Bochy as well. It is time for the presentation of the Warren C. Giles National League Trophy, and for that I turn it over to the honorary National League president, Bill Giles.
Bill, it was a great series, kind of a gut-wrencher, but it was a great series. Your team played with great determination and great heart, and you beat a great Philadelphia team. It's my honor to present to you a trophy named after my dad, the Warren C. Giles Trophy to the National League champion, San Francisco Giants. Thank you.
Mr. Newcomb, to win this for the first time in 8 years is something special, but to do it against the two-time defending National League champions must take it to a different step.
It was an enormous team win. Our congratulations to the Phillies on a great year and a very strong series. We did it the way we got here, which was to play as a team. We can't say enough about all the baseball folks, the team, the trainers, the coaches, our field manager, our general manager. They did it together. They love this game, and we're proud and we're humbled to be where we are today. Thank you.
Congratulations. Larry Baer.
That's it!
Larry, I wonder how much hair have you lost this year based on the way this team plays, because it is an awful lot of fun to watch you guys, but it can be torture.
It can be torture, but they play 100% for each other. And that really is the mark of this team. It's incredible. I want to thank everybody. I want to appreciate the Phillies and thank the Phillies, and especially thank our fans back in San Francisco, because we're taking this trophy back to them.
Congratulations. Brian? You know, the team that just celebrated on the field, so different than the one you broke spring training with. I mean, you added a bunch of guys that were essentially cast-offs. Why did things fit so well out here in San Francisco?
Well, unique group. It took a village type of mentality. I'm a little bit choked up right now. Weak need. Great life experience. Boch, his coaching staff, the veterans, the whole organization, especially player development, scouting, went above and beyond the call of duty. And I'm just speechless, really breathless. It's a great opportunity to see what we can do now on a bigger stage. Phillies, probably one of the best teams in baseball, if not the best, and one of the best organizations. So to think that we came in here and were able to capture the flag, so to speak, is really gratifying. We'll never forget it.
Congratulations. We'll see you in Game 1 on Wednesday night out in San Francisco. Bruce Bochy, come on in here, my friend. When you talk about a team effort, I mean, you used 18 of the 25 players on the active roster. It seemed like every night somebody different had a huge role in this team.
They really did. I mean, we had such a diversity of contribution from everybody, and not bad for a bunch of cast-offs and misfits. And I have to thank Sage and ownership for bringing them in here. And just goes to show you, when you get a group of guys that are all trying to accomplish the same thing, pulling together and playing with a lot of heart, you can see what happens, because we had to beat a terrific team. We know it, and to get here, we had to go through this team, and they found a way to get it done.
You know, there's a lot of people out there that probably don't see the Giants on a nightly basis because your game starts so late, particularly on the East Coast. What did America learn about the San Francisco Giants over the last week and a half?
That they're a group that goes out there and gives everything they have, and it's not one guy that carries this club, but it takes the whole team every night, and that's how we've been doing it. And again, they found a way to do it. I mean, Cody Ross had a big series. Sanchez struggled tonight. The bullpen, Affelt saved us, the whole bullpen, and that's the way it's been all year for us.
Congratulations, Bruce. All right, it is time right now for the presentation of the NLCS MVP, and once again I bring in Mr. Giles.
It's a pleasure to Cody. Cody, you hit 350, 3 triples or 3 doubles and 3 home runs, 5 RBIs. I wish you hadn't been claimed by the Giants. No, I'm just kidding. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here's the MVP.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You know, you really embody this team, what it's all about. I mean, Florida didn't want you. They put you on waivers. This team put a claim in on you, and here you are, the NLCS MVP.
Yeah, I can't thank the Giants enough for giving me the opportunity to come over here and be a part of this. You know, two months ago, I thought I was going home and I was going to sit on the couch and watch team celebrate. And they gave me a chance to come over here, and I told them I'd give them all I had. And without these guys, my teammates are unbelievable, and I want to thank them first off, and my family and the front office again. I mean, without any of them, none of this is possible.
What's your nickname again?
Smiles.
Yeah. How long are you going to be doing that?
For a long time.
Yeah. Well, go enjoy it. Congratulations, NLCS MVP. Cody Ross, everybody. All right, let's send it back upstairs to Joe Buck. Joe?
Thank you, Chris. It is such a likable group, this San Francisco team. Cody Ross does embody what this team is all about. Smiles his nickname, and that's all they're all wearing right now. It has been a long time coming as we look at the list of the longest droughts for a World Series title. The Giants haven't won it since '54 when they were the New York Giants. The Texas Rangers have not won it ever, that franchise in its 50th season. We will continue with more on the Chevrolet postgame show as we lead into the World Series on Wednesday night in San Francisco. The celebration continues, and so do we after this. Welcome back to the Chevrolet postgame show on Fox. Again, our final score from Game 6, 3-2. The Giants win it on an 8th-inning home run by Juan Uribe. Lopez the winner, Madsen the loser. The save for Wilson is third of this series. Let's go down to Chris Rose with Freddie Sanchez. Chris?
All right, Joe, thank you very much. 3 hits tonight for Freddie Sanchez in the clinching game. What are the emotions going through that body?
Everything. I mean, it's just the greatest feeling that I've experienced on a baseball field. You know, I mean, it was just a hard-fought series. Tip our caps to the Phillies. You know, we knew that's why they were the defending National League champs, because of that. You know, but you know, we just thank the man above for putting us and blessing us and getting us into this spot.
For a guy who spent so many of your years across state here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, year after year, 100 lost seasons, tough go at it. It must be something extra special for you, right?
This is, you know, I enjoyed my time in Pittsburgh. I loved it out there, but things happen for a reason, you know, and I got traded over here for a reason, and I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. This is just so exciting. I mean, I can't explain it.
You ready for Game 1 against the Texas Rangers next Wednesday?
We know we're going to have a hard-fought series against those guys. We've seen them play. I mean, they're a great team, but we're just going to try to enjoy this right now.
All right. Well, put those things on. Let's see how you look with them. Let's see. All right. That's a solid look right there, America. I like it, too.
I just want to say, Evan, Ryan, my boys back home, I love you guys. Daddy misses you.
That's his Halloween costume, kids. Joe, back up to you.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. We talked about it briefly at the end when we were going to break. You heard from him a little while ago, Bruce Bochy. I thought of all the managers we've watched maneuver their way through a postseason to this point, he's a big reason why the Giants are moving on to the World Series.
In Game 4 with the 3 double switches, he was on top of everything, and I mean everything, even to the point of putting Pablo Sandoval on the on-deck circle to try to decoy Charlie Manuel into taking Brian Wilson out of the game. Charlie didn't bite, but that's just an idea of how Bruce Bochy was on top of everything.
Bochy calls his team the Dirty Dozen. He has misfits, the way he calls it, and they all have fit together to make a National League pennant winner. We'll go back down inside the clubhouse. Chris?
All right, I'm here with Matt Cain. Of course, he was part of that shutout back in Game 3 in San Francisco. Coming into this series, all you heard about was Halladay and Hamels and Oswald. Did that kind of get you guys a little bit pumped up?
It did. You know, we were going into, you know, these games as any other games. You know, worrying about getting our job done, and we got the job done.
And the feeling overall as you're taking this back to San Francisco for the first time in 8 years?
It feels unbelievable. This is great. You know, we've never even had a close chance of this, and you know, so the way the team's done and played has been unbelievable. We love this. This is amazing.
All right, Matt, congratulations. We'll see you in Game 1 of the World Series next Wednesday.
Thank you, guys.
All right, back on up to Joe.
All right, Chris, thank you. How about that? 2 starts for Matt Cain. No earned runs allowed so far this postseason for the right-hander. And you look at what the Philadelphia Phillies were trying to do. They were trying to become the first team in the National League to win 3 consecutive National League pennants since the Cardinals did it in 1942, 43, and 44. That streak ends here with 2 in a row, not 3. Back downstairs, this time to Ken Rosenthal with Charlie Manuel.
Thanks, Joe. Charlie, first off, what did you tell your team?
I told them that, you know, like not that they didn't have nothing to be ashamed of and not to hang their heads. I told them to lift their heads up high, that that we played absolutely as hard as we possibly could. And that we had a great season, and a lot of it was fun. We had our ups and downs, but at the same time, I enjoyed every bit of it, Rosie. And and I'm sure most every one of our players did. They're that kind of team, and they have nothing, definitely have nothing to be ashamed of. When we came out of spring training, we had, we was wanting to, go to the World Series and win. That was our goal. We didn't get it done. We got awful close, but at the same time, we ran into a team that actually was playing good, and this is a funny game. Sometimes it's the games, farther you go, sometimes the harder it gets to win. And I think that's kind of what happened to us. We got beat, we got beat by a team that was playing a little bit better than we were. And that's kind of how I look at it. But, we can, there's things that we can do better. And, our offense sputtered a little bit this year. And we can come back next year and, and put it all together. And I'll tell you something, we got a chance to win here for 2 or 3 years at least, and maybe even longer. And, I'm going to be very disappointed, maybe more than I am right now, as far as going to where we want to go, because I feel like that we got that kind of club, and I love all of our players, and we get along real good, and we got a good attitude and chemistry, and the only thing we got to do is go out there and play a little bit better, and be more determined.
All right, Charlie, thanks a lot. Joe, back to you.
A great baseball man, and somebody in his 6th year who's won 4 straight division titles. They come up short. Wilson got the final out. He's been doing that all season long for the Giants. We need to hear from him. Here's Chris Rose.
That's right, Joe. I do have the Major League Saves leader, Brian Wilson, with me. So, of course, you have to make it interesting in the 9th, don't you?
That's what we're tagged as doing, and very fitting that it would end that way.
Be honest, how long have you dreamt about closing out an NLCS and sending a team to the World Series ever since you were like a little kid?
Probably around 5. Like most baseball players, when they start off, they want to think about themselves being in a ridiculous moment like tonight, and it happened. I got mine.
So up next, the Texas Rangers, and your buddy C.J. Wilson, the left-handed starter for the Rangers, just tweeted, "See your beard real soon."
Sounds delicious. We'll be coming.
You don't have anything to tweet back to him? You're a pretty creative guy.
Well, I think the machine will say all he needs to say when he makes an appearance again.
We don't need to take the machine on national TV. But, Brian, congratulations. We'll see you in Game 1 of the World Series out in San Francisco next Wednesday. You ready, buddy?
That sounds real good.
Delicious.
You said it.
All right. Joe, back on up to you.
One of the most unique people you will ever run across, Brian Wilson, and he's fun to talk to. You never know what's going to come out of that mouth, and tell you what, he's had an unbelievable run, and he makes you laugh, doesn't he?
Well, for the World Series, we're going to show you a card trick that Brian Wilson does, and that alone will make you want to watch Game 1.
The whole machine thing, forget that. That was an inside joke. Just let that go. Let that wash right over you. Doesn't matter at this point. What does matter is, in a series filled with tight games, well, it was San Francisco a little bit better than Philadelphia in this series. And now looking ahead, more pitching, more good pitching as the Yankees ran into in the ALCS from Texas. And we now know for sure that San Francisco has everything they need to get the job done.
Well, particularly tonight, you saw that 6+ innings of bullpen work that was superb from everybody down there.
So you ready to take a little break and then ramp it up for Wednesday night in San Francisco? The probable starters, Cliff Lee. Look at his career postseason, 7-0, the ERA 1.26. And Lincecum, 2-1 in ERA under 2 this postseason. It starts Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern here on Fox. For the Rangers, their first ever World Series in franchise history. For the Giants, their first since 2002. There is the slate of games for Fox NFL Sunday tomorrow, including the Redskins at Bears, the Eagles at the Titans, and 3 other matchups. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. It starts at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific with our pregame show. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's Fringe, followed by Running Wild. Some of you will see your late local news preceding those 2 shows. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. We want to thank our new good friend Mitch Williams for helping us out in this NLCS. For Mitch, for Eric, for Ken Rosenthal, Chris Rose. For Tim McCarver, I'm Joe Buck. For more information on tonight's game and the latest in Major League Baseball news, log on to foxsports.com. Powered by MSN, the world's favorite sports site. This is Fox Sports, your home for the 2010 World Series. The Giants, National League champs, and now they're on their way to the World Series.